black suit. I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist. Try not to change but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exist. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature Iraq. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing, steady growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view to some window pane. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick me. Here's some truth that I'll let free, Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will to win and the track meet, the secret is I'm always angry. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the Beast had won it off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers, then I hit my quota. And my train of thought is more a locomotive, talking reason for it, I got locomotives. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex in a France tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit, I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist, try not to change but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exist. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm one man working the board here, trying to do everything at once. It gets difficult. But good morning, or good afternoon. Is it afternoon yet? No, it is afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, had to jump on the live. I try to do one a day at the very least. And we got to get caught up on what's happening in the world of the transfer portal and then take all your guys' questions. Every live is the same for me. I come in here, I want to talk to you guys about what's going on with the transfer portal, what's going on with your favorite team, and then I just want to take questions from you guys. I want you guys part of the show. You can just start spamming the chat right now with everything that's on your mind. What's the latest and greatest? What are you worried about? Some guys want predictions. Some guys want to know the truth about somebody. Give them some tough love. I'm here for it, y'all. I really am. So that interaction is essential. I feed off of it. So thank you guys for being here. Those of you who are waiting for the show to start, those of you who are here. And then as everybody gets in the room, more power to you. Now, I know it's the middle of the day, and I know some people work, so they might watch this after hours. And I'm used to that. It's all good. But please, thank you. I wanted to say please and thank you for supporting the channel the way you guys do. It means a lot to me. So without further ado, I'll get started. I'll talk to you guys about what I want to talk about, and then I'll start taking questions. If you're watching me from work, shout out to you. I know you're efficient. When I was working, and I used to work in the Army, I've been in the Army over 20 years. I'm still active duty. But I can remember the one time nobody worked. The one time none of us worked. It was March Madness, y'all. It had to be March Madness. That was the point. That was the joint for a lot of us. And I'm sorry if my mic gets a little distorted. I'm still adjusting my settings. I'm still learning how we need to do this. But yeah, March Madness, everybody's just up in arms, just taking their time, doing their thing. So, and nobody's working. Let's see here. I'm trying to make the chat visible so when I'm here, I can see it the whole time. It's very difficult for me to do that. So before I get into the chat, I'm going to pull up the board here. I'm going to shrink myself down. And I'm going to pull up the transfer portal, and we'll get to talking. Now, this is the Rivals Tracker. It's not always the most accurate, the latest and greatest that has been taking place. What can work for you is if you go to Twitter and look at certain pages, and I follow a few pages. So here I am. And what you'll see is if I scroll to the top, we'll start at the very top. Now, shout out to me for discussing this during the linebacker. I did a live stream about linebackers, if you guys can find it. There's actually a copyright claim on it, and I can't make any money off of it. I don't care. But I made a video about linebackers, and I talked about all the linebackers in the transfer portal. And one guy I came across was Prince Colley here from Notre Dame. And I said he's a reserve linebacker at Notre Dame. He was a deep reserve. And sometimes these Notre Dame guys get over-evaluated. Dare I say overrated. Now, I don't like to use the term overrated because these guys are as good as I think they are. Every single player out there is as good as I think they are. That's in my mindset. So I never overrate anyone because they're just as good as I think they are, if that makes sense. So for me, he can be a 4-star guy. But for me, he's just a reserve linebacker, depth. But him going to Vanderbilt, I called this move. It didn't take a rocket scientist. His head coach, his previous defensive coordinator was Clark Lee. That's the head coach at Notre Dame. I talked about it at length, and I said, yeah, I can see him going to this particular school. And what do you know? He's going to Vandy to go link back up with his old head coach or his old defensive coordinator. It's going to be tough to win at Vandy. But as far as linebacker depth goes, Prince Colley has a real shot to see the field at Vandy. Moving to the SEC is irrelevant. It's the talent level at Vandy, and you can get on the field there if you transfer in, if you qualify. And it's apparent this young man, he meets the threshold and the standard. So more power to him. He's going to go somewhere where he's wanted. I'd say 80%, and I'm not even joking, 80% of these transfers are not chasing an NIL deal. They're not chasing, I'm not saying that they're not chasing playing time, but they're going where they're wanted and desired. I really mean that. I look at so many different commitments, and it's all about going into a scheme that fits for you, where you're desired, where you're wanted, who was out there saying they want you at their school. And what's unique about that is the other percentages of players, the other, the other scenarios for players in the portal, they're very specific. It's, I want to go where I'm wanted or desired. I want to go to a certain offensive scheme that's more advantageous to me. Happened with, who was it, Charlie Jones last year? Charlie Jones, he was at Iowa, 300 yards receiving most years, tops. And then he gets to Purdue and goes absolute ham, 100 receptions, second in the country in receiving, and gets drafted. And that's what it's about, is trying to find the right scheme for you. I've seen a lot of guys moving to different offensive schemes based solely on, the offensive coordinator or the new head coach or whatever's the case. So there's that. Then there's those select few who are moving to a new school because it's closer to home. That happens a lot. I see it all over the place. These guys who are just wanting to go and be closer to, in proximity to home and their family. They've been away for a while. So those schools always have an advantage to win. And I know a lot of the Texas schools have come out and said, hey, if you were a Texas kid and you left the state, We're interested in you. I know that's Texas State's motto. What is it? Is it win back Texas, fight back Texas, bring back Texas? Somebody can tell me. Somebody look it up and let me know. It's their motto for this offseason. G.J. Kinney is saying we just need to win back Texas. That's it. We just got to get kids from this damn state and stop letting them leave the state. So there's that issue there. But let's keep moving here. Prince Colley going with a coach that he wants to go with. Oh, by the way, yes, there are kids in the transfer portal who are just solely looking for playing time, solely looking to improve their pro pedigree and stock. But at the same time, if you're looking to improve your draft grade, isn't that kind of following a coach that wants you and maybe the right scheme? So that fits over there. Very few players in the transfer portal are going down in competition. It's not as common as you think. In the spring, it's happening. But in the winter, it wasn't happening. I'd say of the 1,000 players I covered, 1,065 players I covered in the winter, I'd say less than 50. I think it was right at 50. Went from the FBS to the FCS. You know, in the 90s and in the past, in the 90s and the early 2000s, you transferred down a level because you would lose a year of eligibility if you didn't. So you went from 1A to 1AA or FBS to FCS, right? Everybody did that transfer. But now that you don't lose a year of eligibility, everybody's transferring Power 5 to Power 5. Very few players are going, at least not contributing players. They're not going from Power 5 to Group of 5. The only Group of 5 teams taking Power 5 guys, like in droves, is SMU. Well, and UMass, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, the vast majority of transfers that I see are, number one, Power 5 to Power 5. That's without a doubt. And then secondly, and those are a lot of the SEC leftovers going to other conferences. Those are a lot of Pac-12 guys going to other conferences. I mean, it's an assortment of players. But Power 5 to Power 5 is the real thing there. It's the driving force for these transfers. And then outside of that, I see a ton of FCS All-Americans and All-Conference guys coming up to the FBS. Oh, my goodness. And, you know, you can vilify the transfer portal and say it's taking scholarships from high school kids. It's not. You can do that all day. But what it really is doing is it's giving these FCS All-Americans and All-Conference players an opportunity to get a scholarship that they missed out on. They prove themselves on the field. They're productive. They are who they are. And they finally get to the highest level. And more power to them. I'm not mad at them. Apparently, some people are. There's some guy out there who's got 78,000 hours in recruiting, and he's adamant that the transfer portal's hurting these kids, and it's not. What it's doing is, listen, it's letting college coaches miss on recruiting. I'm going to break it down for you guys. I'm going to peel it back a little bit and explain. College coaches are still signing 25 guys out of high school. So there's that limit. Now, the limit's lifted for the last 2 years, for the next 2 years, for this year and last year, whatever. Listen, the limit is 25 initial entry scholarships. That's what it's called, initial entry. And every college team can only have 25 guys coming out of high school. Well, the trick is JUCO counts as an initial entry scholarship. So JUCO and high school, they share the same allocation of scholarships. So if you're coming out of JUCO and you're coming out of high school, the limit's 25. So that really hurts the JUCO. Now, for years and years and years, it didn't hurt. But the way it hurts now is all the teams are still signing 25 guys on average. I did a look in the FBS. On average, it was 20 guys per team. The reason it's down in the last 2 years is not the transfer portal. It's COVID. It's COVID. The minute you told all these teams they have to keep, or they're allowed to keep, an extra year of eligibility on these players, holy smokes. Now what used to be 5 recruiting classes, because of redshirting, right? 5 recruiting classes that you would revolve into the 85. You now have 6, because they can't lift the 85. 85 scholarship limit could not be lifted because that's mandated by Title IX. You got to have an equal number of male and female scholarships. So you can't raise the scholarship count. It's stuck at 85. So when the NCAA said, hey guys, you all get an extra year of eligibility, everybody 2020 doesn't count. When they did that and didn't lift the scholarship limit, I'm going to use this term, they effed over a ton of future high school kids, not the players. Like, the players get an extra year of eligibility, cool. But the high school kids who aren't players yet, oh my goodness, you're trying to get into college and there's no scholarships, right? Well, no. The college coaches found a loophole. And those who aren't in the know just vilify the transfer portal. But it's the college coaches that found the loophole. Shout out to Lane Kiffin. Shout out to, Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher and you name it. Everybody's doing it. And what they're doing is they don't care about the 85 limit. They're going to recruit 25 high school kids. They're going to sign them all. Those 25 are allocated. And now they got 60 scholarships left. They renew them every year. They're year-to-year scholarships. And they go and make the best 60 they can make. They get their best 60 out of those leftover guys. And whoever doesn't make that 60, they get pushed to the transfer portal. And in the spring, the media narrative is, oh, these kids are unhappy. These kids are, they think the grass is greener on the other side. They're being forced into the transfer portal by their coach. Shout out to Coach Prime or anybody else who did it. They're being forced into the transfer portal. Goodbye. Because these teams now can replace whoever they missed on recruiting. So it allows coaches to over-recruit positions. And they can miss. They can afford to miss. Because Bama can go 4 years without finding another quarterback and just get one in the transfer portal. Shout out to Tyler Buckner. Like, you can just miss now. But it's not hurting the high school kids. It's hurting whoever's on your roster that doesn't develop quickly, that doesn't mature at the same rate. If you're a late bloomer, you got to go. So once again, every team is signing 25 guys. You don't believe me? Go check Rivals, go check 24/7 Sports, and check the size of the recruiting classes. They're still signing the guys. Now, who do they choose to sign? Well, of course, they choose to sign high school kids and not JUCO kids. They have more upside. There's probably more blue chip players there. And then when they go to make their best 60 after those first 25, they're making their best 60. Yeah, they tend to pick other transfers. And the trick behind it is there's no limit on transfers. There's a limit on initial entry scholarships, 25. That'll be the limit next year. There's not a limit this year, but there was a limit. There's been a limit forever, and they lifted it. They waived it for 2 years. But the point is there's no limit on transfers. So who cares? Who cares who leaves? But I will not vilify a young man who took an FCS offer and earned his way into the FBS or the Power 5. I'm not going to sit here and drag an FCS All-American like Baishal Tutton, who went and ran at North Carolina A&T, earned his keep, rushed for 1,400 yards last year, and now he's a starting running back at Virginia Tech. Nah, I don't care if there's a high school kid out there, oh, I was going to go D1, but they gave away my scholarship. Then you weren't going to go D1. You're going D1. There's 128 FCS schools. Pick one. There's 128 FCS schools, and they are allowed to have 63 scholarships. Pick one. But it's like this because the COVID year, not the transfer portal. That COVID year really messed up everybody by giving them an extra year of eligibility. Teams are forced to, remember, you were getting 25 a year. 25 a year. If you get 25 in 4 years, 4 years in a row, that's 100 kids. That's 100. You only got 85. You need academic attrition. You need injuries. You need redshirting. And then if you redshirt them, whoa, now we're doing 5 years of recruiting. Now that's, if you're getting 20 a year, you're getting 100 in 5 years. You still need attrition. You still need departures from your team. So imagine a team like Clemson, who signs no one from the transfer portal, still has a dozen, 15 leave every year. They need the attrition because they're signing 25 and 25. And so you need people departing. Go check how many Bama signed from the transfer portal and how many they got in. They got over 20 in the portal, 23 in the portal. Ole Miss, 30-something in the portal. Arkansas, 30-something in the portal. Florida, 30-something in the portal. They got to clear out space to make up for those 25 that they're going to, because no matter what, everybody understands the foundation of your team's success is signing players out of high school. They understand that. No one's arguing that. So they're still signing kids out of high school. The narrative, when you start seeing dudes on their podcast talking about, oh, this is taking away scholarships from the high school. No, it's not. It's taken away from the JUCOs, sure. I told you guys, nobody wants a used car. Nobody wants a used car from Bill's Auto Body. Nobody wants a used car from Billy Bob's Automotives. But you'll buy a used car from another certified dealership. If it's got Lexus or Toyota on the title, now you feel more comfortable getting one from there, right? So you'll get a transfer portal player before you go get a JUCO. You trust the dealership it's coming from. It's the reality of the situation. It's you can't beat it. Now, it's a sad reality. I don't know. I think a lot of people end up at JUCOs for various reasons. Not everybody can play college football. At the end of the day, not everybody can play college football. That's why I'm so hard on people with character issues or a lack of commitment issues. Back to the list here. We'll get to the chat here in a bit, guys. I got you guys. Keep putting your questions in the chat. I will get to you. Only put one, please, and then I'll get to it. I promise. Next on the list here, sources are telling me UAB safety Jalen Key is heading to Florida State. Now, guys, I don't do rumors. So when it says sources are telling me, no matter how accurate you are, I don't do rumors. So we'll wait till it comes out. But Jalen Key, starting safety at UAB, played great this last season, 4 interceptions. When you have an NFL caliber guy like Starling Thomas V in the secondary and you shine just as bright as he does and you get all these offers, shout out to Jalen Key. He has a ton of offers. He announced his top 6. Florida State's in his top 6. This is an immediate starting caliber player for Florida State. So if they get that, they've been really knocking it out this offseason in the transfer portal. So that's a pretty big deal. Arden Walker. I talked about Arden Walker, and I talked about him the other night in one of those videos I made about the 10 visitors this weekend. Arden Walker was one of the visitors from the weekend. And if you're keeping track, I believe he's like the 4th or 5th commitment from this weekend, maybe even the 6th. I'll go back and count it. But Arden Walker, edge rusher from Missouri, this is a guy who was not in the starting lineup at the beginning of the season, but by the end of the year, he started the final game of the season and he started the bowl game. And to earn your way into the starting defensive line at Missouri is a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. Go watch Missouri versus Kentucky and Will Levis. Go watch what they do to Will Levis. Or go watch with them against Georgia. It's incredible. I think they had 5 or 6 sacks on Will Levis. I'm not even joking. But Missouri, great defensive line. So to get Arden Walker, no surprise. I predicted this one would happen. I told you guys his father's an alumni. He played at Colorado just to get this young man coming back home. He's from Colorado. This is a big deal. I think the more depth you get on the defensive line at Colorado is important. But, guys, this is not a joke, this is the 13th defensive lineman / edge rusher that Coach Prime has gotten this offseason. The 13th transfer. They have 15 defensive linemen on scholarship now. Of those 15, no. Let me rephrase that. They have 15 total defensive linemen. 2 are returning from last year, and 13 on scholarship. And what I like about it is you had all these defensive linemen on this trip this weekend. You had a ton of them. Literally like 5 of them. 5 of the 10 players that were visiting, and it turns out it was more than 10 players visiting. But they all saw each other. They all know they're on the same trip. And nobody's, quote-unquote, tripping. Forgive the term. Nobody's tripping about it. Nobody's going, oh, man, I don't want to commit now. There's too much competition. All these guys are trying to go there. No, it's a team concept. It's a mob mentality. Yo, we're about to do this. All of us. We're about to make history. We're going to be something. People are going to look back on us as the team that started all this. Let's be the foundation of something great. And not being intimidated by the fact that there are 4 or 5 other monsters that are going to be playing your position. And it's just there's enough to eat. There's enough to eat because all these guys know they've all played some football. These are not high school kids being recruited. These are college kids. They understand. Hey, if you're first or second string, you play. If you're in the 2 deep on the defensive line, you play the game. It's not just starters. Oh, yeah, you're starting. You're in the game. No, that's not how it works in college. 2 deep, you see the field. 2 deep, you see the field. So, yeah, Arden Walker knew this was happening, knew this was coming, excited for the young man, glad he gets to come back home. He won a couple of state titles in high school in the state of Colorado, I think 5A. So, second highest level, good stuff, man. Good to come back home and be a little hero there. Long snapper from Toledo. I don't know him. I can't even front. Guys, and you'll know this about me. I do not pretend to know someone if I don't know them. I'll just be like, hey, I owe you an answer. I got a pen right here ready to take notes in case I don't know someone. Long snappers, I got you. You got me, bro. Memphis tight end, Arrington McCray, committing to Jackson State. So here's what I'll say about this. Yes, he's a former 3-star player, so it's a big deal to get a 3-star to go to Jackson State. Shout out to the HBCUs. They're starting to get a lot of commits here at the end of the recruiting cycle or the transfer portal cycle this spring. Because players are, they're pursuing all those other dreams. And then when it kind of ends, they go, oh, wait, I go play for TC. Like, I coach TC. Okay, I'm there. But here's the deal. Arrington McCray, before we get all excited, he didn't play at Memphis. He was a redshirt. Caden Pryor-Scorn was the starting tight end. He was very good. He actually transferred to Ole Miss, and he will be the starting tight end. I know Michael Triggs over there, but the two of them, somebody's got to figure that out. Triggs coming over from USC. He's a transfer 2 years ago, and he's one of Jackson Dart's boys. But Caden Pryor-Scorn, to me, looks like an NFL tight end. So, and then there was another backup tight end. So he was third string at Memphis, didn't play at all, so he redshirted. But it's nice to get a young man over here. I know he had another offer, and this is crazy. He shunned Eddie George. So he had an offer from East Tennessee, or not East Tennessee, just Tennessee State, right? Tennessee State, I think they're the Tigers. They're blue and white. But he went with Jackson State. So shout out to him. Had to pick an HBCU, and he picked the right one for him. So there you go. Not bad, not bad. Next guy, Jack Tucker. Jack Tucker is a Texas kid. He's leaving Texas Tech. He's going to Liberty. And what I want to say about Jack Tucker is he's 6'7", 305. And if you do research on this kid, his father and grandfather, I think his grandfather's graduated at Butler University. His mom and dad, they're from Indiana. So this is like some corn-fed stuff. Like this is one of them big Midwest linemen, right? He was only at Texas Tech for 2 years. He still has 3 years of eligibility, I believe. But transferring to Liberty, look, Liberty's just hoping he's big, hoping he's got the right size. You can mold a guy 6'7", 305 into something. But unfortunately, I don't know how good he is as a football player. And what I mean by this, in high school, he went to Argyle. They won state in Texas, 4A. So not huge schools, not tiny, but you get the deal. But the deal is Liberty was offering every lineman in the portal, as far as I'm concerned. Like when I did research on the top 100, I mean, I study every person. But when I did it, I looked and I said, man, he's got a Liberty offer. He's got a Liberty. It's like everybody's got a Liberty offer. I don't know. They got scholarships available. Shout out to Jamie Chadwell and what he's doing. The new head coach just coming over from Coastal Carolina, and he's got to backfill his roster. So it's cool, man. But my goodness, shout out to Liberty for getting a lineman. Texas transfer punter Isaac Pearson is committed to SMU. I don't know what they're paying punters, but shout out to him. Austin Peay wide receiver Kellen Stewart commits to Middle Tennessee. So this is interesting to me. Austin Peay had 2 wide receivers that were worth a damn. And your boy right here, Kellen Stewart, 5'9", 149 pounds. Not 150, 149. Do you guys see this picture right here? Like, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to see if this works. Look at those legs, bro. And I know, hey, pause. I shouldn't be worried about a man's physique. But this man, no, he's quick and he's nice. But he's 5'9", 149. Maybe 150 at best. I promise you. This man, everything's baggy on him. Everything. This man is tiny. And that's why he was at Austin Peay. Not because he ain't got talent. So Middle Tennessee, taking a stab at it, giving him a shot, seeing what he can do. He was a quarterback in high school. That's kind of funny. I think he was a quarterback. Was he a quarterback? Yeah, he was a quarterback in Texas. And I think he might have had more rushing yards than passing yards, if I remember correctly. But no, he's just a great athlete. MVP of his region and division. He looks the part. You know, at Austin Peay, when they played Bama, they had another receiver, Dre McCray. And Dre McCray is the truth. Now, he's at Texas Tech. And Texas Tech, if they can get him the ball, when they played Alabama, nobody wants to watch a Austin Peay versus Alabama football game. That's the week you ignore the game, right? I watched it. Obviously, I watch every game. So I said, man, Dre McCray looks like he belongs on the field. He looked better than every single Alabama wide receiver. He did. And then what happens? He's an All-American. He's a beast, and he transfers to Texas Tech. And that's significant because that's where Zach Kittley is, the best offensive coordinator in the country at Texas Tech. So I'm excited for Austin Peay. They got 2 of their wide receivers to move up to the highest level. I know that's a terrible thing to say because they just lost 2 of their guys, but it's the nature of the beast. 2 of your best receivers make it to the FBS level, one in the Power 5, one in the Group of 5. And that's cool. But this young man here, he was only a freshman. So he has years of eligibility. Kellen Stewart does. And I think Dre is older, so if I remember correctly. So shout out to him. Not bad. We'll do it. And then shout out to Devin Grant. Devin Grant leaving Colorado, going to UIW, Incarnate Word. So transferring to Incarnate Word, I'm going to tell you guys, this is proof that certain players on the Colorado roster were not Power 5 caliber. And there's many. The vast majority of the ones that are gone. And here's yet another one. So good. Congratulations to UIW for getting a linebacker from a Power 5 school. It's very rare to get one at the FCS level. But it says hometown, right? Texas, San Antonio. Play in front of your family. All you college players out there who are looking for an offer, go get your offer. But I would say pick somewhere where you're going to play. Pick somewhere where you're wanted and desired. And this is probably a good get for UIW. Shout out to them. Let's see. And Jaden Muskrat, I talked about it last night, so I'll leave it alone. Actually, I don't think I talked about it on the last live. But Jaden Muskrat obviously committing to Auburn. It's a huge deal for Auburn. That's 4 offensive linemen from the transfer portal that will be starting for them. This is a strength on their team. They got super seniors everywhere, and now they got 2 teammates right next to each other, Dylan Wade and Jaden Muskrat. Both guys very familiar with the offense. This is no different from what Colorado did with Savion and Jack Bailey. Here they go, and they get Jaden Muskrat, Dylan Wade, playing for Philip Montgomery, their old head coach, Tulsa head coach, now offensive coordinator at Auburn. Auburn has some amazing running backs. They got about 4 of them. One of them is a walk-on, and I really like him. I'll talk about him when he hits the transfer portal someday because I think he's leaving. But still, great get. The fact that they beat out South Carolina for Jaden Muskrat is huge. This pushes the Notre Dame kid, and I'm forgetting his name right now. I can probably look it up. There's a Notre Dame kid in the transfer portal, and he was waiting to see if Jaden Muskrat would go there. And since he did, I don't think he's going to Auburn. Transfer's coming out. I'll know when I see him. He's the tall. Caleb Johnson, 6'7", 300-pound kid. So Caleb Johnson now, he's got to find himself a school. And while we're here looking at Notre Dame, if you look, all their players in the transfer portal have found schools except for Logan Diggs. And everybody has Logan Diggs 100% going to LSU. And it turns out that may not be true. That may not be true. South Carolina is in the mix. South Carolina is in the mix. They had him in for a visit. And if the Gamecocks can win this man and get this man, Logan Diggs, it really bolsters them. They already have Mario Anderson Jr. If you don't know who Mario Anderson Jr. is, he is a Division II All-American who just went from Division II all the way to the FBS, all the way to the Power 5, to the SEC. It's remarkable. But Mario Anderson Jr. looks like Emmitt Smith on tape to me. He just got strong legs, breaks tackles, just tough. Maybe not Emmitt. Maybe Matt Forte. I don't know. He's not rapping Forte. He's not on a smooth tip. He's not at the Players Club. I can tell you that. Don't get me started, guys. Sometimes I just go off on tangents. It is what it is. So, yeah. Prince Colley just found a school. He went to Vandy to go play with his old defensive coordinator, now head coach at Vandy. And Caleb Johnson's on the outside looking in. Take note, he is from Florida, but I think he's one of those guys who will go anywhere in the world to play football. So we'll see what his next offer is and where he's going. But I think I just hit everybody I wanted to hit on the transfer portal. As far as updates go, let me see over here. Rivals tracker. Don't care about a kicker. He's going from Ohio State to Northern Illinois. That's cool. Keon Kindred, I talked about him earlier on the offensive lineman live stream I did. Going to the Zips, Akron lost 2 of their starters to East Carolina, so they're just backfilling. He's never been a starter, but he's a young talent. If you ask me, Joe Moorhead, the head coach at Akron, he flipped the roster 2 years ago. He did a really good job in the transfer portal. This year, very anemic, lost a lot of players. But the players he lost are just the players who lost their starting jobs to the transfers that he went and got. If I can make this clear, he got a ton of transfers in, let me try to pull this up. Let me see if I can show you guys. This is going to be pretty neat. And who cares about Akron? I do. So in 2022, Joe Moorhead shows up as the head coach. And look how many transfers he gets. And he got, and this is Akron, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. And Jeff Undercuffler here, he's coming from Albany. He's fighting for the starting quarterback job with DJ Irons, JUCO transfer. They got JUCO transfers as well. So he got 17 new guys and JUCO transfers. And he only lost, 14 guys? Okay. But these guys that departed in 2023, all the players stayed. They got all these transfers, and all these guys stayed at Akron. And they thought they were going to be somebody. Look at all these guys that are now leaving this year. They all lost their starting jobs, except for Cameron Wiley. He was a starting running back. Charles was a starting corner, but he's a graduate transfer. But then all this happened right here. They just lost their 2 starting linemen right here. This is Ryan Beckman and Owen Murphy. Now they're roommates, so they wanted to go play somewhere. They both went to East Carolina. So 2 roommates decided we're bouncing. So there's a vacancy here on the offensive line. And once again, Xavier Gray leaving Akron, going to Liberty. I told you, Liberty's giving out scholarships to anybody, guys. If you want to play, go to Liberty. They got to fill it up. So Akron getting their transfers this year, it's pretty underwhelming. What's notable here is Drake Anderson showing up. Drake Anderson was the leading rusher at Arizona in 2021. This last year he didn't play. I think it was an injury, but in 2021 he led the team in rushing. So Drake Anderson he's a pretty good running back, and he's going to show up and replace Wiley, who just left. But the guys they're getting, a little underwhelming if you ask me. I mean it. Okay, but they also got Lindgren. He's a transfer from Florida, running back. Ahmad Rabah. You guys ain't even ready for Ahmad Rabah. He played college at American International. It's called American International. He's a graduate transfer. He averaged a sack a game last year. It's Division II. I went and watched the film. I'm like, what is this? I don't know how good he is. It's Division II. And that's where Akron's going to get some of their players. So I think Akron's going to be down this year, but they flipped their roster for real if you look at the amount of transfer activity they've had over the last 2 years. So seeing a move like this doesn't surprise me. Getting a reserve lineman from Maryland could potentially come in and add more depth. TJ McMahon, he had to leave. JT Daniels showed up. I talked about, AJ Braithwaite. He's been in the portal a long time. He's been in the portal for a little bit. And him going to FIU, congrats FIU. They need backfills. They lost a ton of players. A.J. Allen, I think he followed the bag, y'all. I told you guys A.J. Allen is a good running back. I thought he had a chance to be a starting running back for Colorado. Jumped in the portal. He was going to be the future running back in Nebraska. And, hey, go and cash in. He's from Louisiana. He's from Monroe, Louisiana. He didn't go to John Curtis. He went to a different high school. But he's from, the northern part of Louisiana, if you're not aware. There's some really good football pedigree in that area. Great running backs come out of there. And A.J. Allen's one of them. So great players, period. But A.J. Allen is a stud. Going to Miami, I'm excited for him. That was a surprising addition to the Miami backfield for sure. There's Jaden Muskrat. Like I said, he's a beast. Cade McDonald, I haven't ever talked about him before on here. He's a track guy. He's a white wide receiver, but he's a track guy. Cade McDonald, in high school, he played in high school, and they won state. Did they win the state? I think they won state. I know they won state in track and field. But you know who was on his high school team? Jaden Reed, who just got drafted, right, in the NFL draft. I think he was 50th overall in the second round. And his other teammate was Peyton Thorne. So Jaden Reed goes to the NFL. Peyton Thorne jumps in the transfer portal and goes down to Auburn. And now Cade's sitting there like, yo, we were all high school teammates. We all came to Michigan State to do this thing, be a three-headed monster. But everybody's gone now. So he's going to Miami of Ohio. Huge deal. Great job. This is the second receiver playmaker that Miami of Ohio has gotten in the last month. I'm more impressed with Gage Larvadain, but they're both great returners. And if you don't know Gage Larvadain, he played at Louisiana? Southern Louisiana? Is it the Tigers? Something like that? Everybody's a Tiger. But Gage Larvadain, guys, YouTube him. Google him. Gage, Gage, Larvadain, Lara, Larva, Larva, Dana, Dan. Gage Larvadain. Let me show you guys. I don't even want to leave you like that. YouTube. Let's go to, I won't play the video, but I'll just show you. Gage Larvadain. There it is. Whoa. Gage Larvadain, y'all. He's a basketball player. He's a great athlete. 88 yards against Northwestern State. But just go watch Gage Larvadain's tape. Go do some research on Gage Larvadain. He's going to be at Miami of Ohio. They have a good quarterback. It's Gabbert's little brother. Blaine Gabbert's little brother. Yeah, they have a good quarterback. So we already talked about the rest of these in other lives. So I'll leave that at that. All right, I'm going to get to your questions. Now, fair warning. I already told you guys. You can write whatever you want in the questions. I got you. I'm going to get to them. I'm going to answer them the best of my ability. Once the question stops, the show's over. So don't let the questions stop. Just keep feeding me. I already caught up on the transfer portal, but now I just want to do a Q&A and talk with you guys. Give me a second. I'm going to, before I get to the chat, let it build up for you guys. I'm going to go grab some ice and a drink. So you guys sit tight. It's a slight intermission, maybe 1 or 2 minutes tops. So give me a second here. Apologies.
Truth that I let free. Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will to win in the track meet, the secret is I'm always angry. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green. Go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me. Know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee. Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, green, green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers, then I hit my quota. And my train of thought is more a locomotive, talking reason for it, I got locomotives. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex and a friend's tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit, I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist, try not to change but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one time, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of...
All right, and I'm back. I apologize. All right. I'm human like everybody else. I need a drink. Let me go to the top of the chat. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Hope you guys hit that like button. We got 100 people up in here. We should see 100 likes. If you don't like what you see, thanks for the views. All right. What do we got? I see you have an Aztecs helmet on your thumbnail. It's nice. Check this out. I made a video. It's old. You guys got to go way back. So I created playlists on all my videos. And I have all these playlists now on my homepage. And you got to go through them. And one of them, unfortunately, one of the videos I couldn't get on the playlist is this one where I identify the top 10 uniforms in college football. I made this video. I made it on TikTok. It didn't blow up over here. Nobody gives a shit. TikTok, over 100,000 views. Over here, I think it's got 200 views. But it's on my page, and I rate the top 10 uniforms. And that helmet you saw in the thumbnail, that helmet is everything. San Diego State, you want to talk about an authentic helmet, that shit it's hieroglyphics, man. It's incredible. So I like that helmet. I like the way they redid it. If you go back and look at the old Marshall Faulk helmets, gross. Look at the Larry Ned and the, whoever else was playing in the early 2000s, gross. Carl Pickens used to wear an ugly helmet. Whoever was, Darnell Scott. There's a ton of guys, just terrible looking helmets. And now they got a beautiful one. So shout out to you for knowing it was the Aztecs helmet. That's pretty impressive. Word. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. You're at work watching. Hey, like I said, I used to watch March Madness from work. Never watched anybody live stream. Never watched the podcast. But I appreciate you guys if you're watching me while you're driving. If you're just listening. If you just got me in your earpiece. It's all good. I know there's people like that everywhere. I appreciate the support, y'all. Rico, what's up with Larry Nixon III? Seems like a kid from the lower level that could add to CU's quarterback line. So I'll go and do some research on Larry and see why and why not he's a fit. I got you. So I owe you an answer because I don't have an answer right now on Larry Nixon III. Apologize. Thanks for digging that deep, though, Matt. Shout out to you. When you went back and looked at Brock Bowers' high school tape, what piped up off the screen? So when I looked at, and I've looked at Brock Bowers' tape, it's unique, right? Tight ends are so big and they're like athletic and gliding and they're powerful. But you know what's crazy is usually when you see a guy like Brock Bowers, it's usually a wide receiver that you just fed him, right? That's why you recruit so many wide receivers. You recruit so many wide receivers because they can play special teams, they can convert to DB, they can do everything. You can make some of them a running back. You can, Dion Henley from Washington State, he was a quarterback in high school. They made him a wide receiver at Nevada, gets to Washington State, he's a linebacker. And he just got drafted in the second round as a linebacker. Now you got a wide receiver, a kid who played wide receiver in college. And he's a linebacker. You talk about coverage skills. How athletic is he? And that's why he goes in the second round. So people just, when you start looking at guys like Brock Bowers, you usually assume, all right, he's athletic. He's too fast. He's this, that. What he is I saw a unicorn. When I watched his tape, I saw a unicorn. Now, I will say this. I was cautious to think he's any good. Now, I know he's good. I know he's the goods now. But when I first saw him, don't let me get this straight, though. I'm wearing this shirt. I'm not a Georgia fan. I live in Georgia. They sell shirts for $5, bro. I'm a damn minimalist. I'm a baller on a budget for a reason because I never want to work again in my life. I want to do this for the rest of my life. So this is what I'm doing. But don't get it twisted. I'm not a fan. But I do recognize greatness. I think he's a unicorn. So it's not often you see that on tape. But what I will say is I did see a better tight end on tape, right? Eric Gilbert looked better on tape. Eric Gilbert looked amazing. And when Eric Gilbert got to Georgia, leaving LSU, I thought, oh, man, this guy's going to start. I thought, this is a starter. What are you guys doing? And now I don't know if he's going to start in Nebraska. I hope he does. So it's hard. It's hard to tell. It is what it is. How do you feel about the T as quarterback situation? About the T as quarterback situation? What does that mean? What T as quarterback? I don't know. Is that a typo? That's got to be a typo, and I probably won't see your answer until much later. CU stole our walk-on wide receiver from LSU. I'm just joking, honestly. Did not know he was on the team. I'm wishing him the best at CU and see him helping on special teams at CU. Yeah, and everybody's talking about it. Here's the deal, guys. Players aren't stolen. Don't use terminology like stolen. Players go where they're wanted, where they're desired, and where they want to be a part of a program. Go where they want to play. Trey Palmer, when he left LSU, everybody at LSU did the same thing right here. Oh, ha, ha, crying, ha, ha. They're taking our leftovers. Mickey Joseph took Trey Palmer with him. He's a leftover. He couldn't even catch. He's not even a good wide receiver. He's no booty. He's no this. Come on, bro. Trey Palmer just got drafted in the NFL. You're talking about NFL wide receivers. You're talking about kids who are putting their best effort and playing and sacrificing themselves every single day. And you're doing crying faces and emojis and laughing. Haha, you're taking our leftovers. I didn't even know he was on the team. You didn't know he was on the team? They know he's on the team. His teammates know he's on the team. It's just out of pocket to talk about kids like that, man. Real talk. The king is coming. Is Alto coming or no? Alto is not coming. I'm pretty sure he's not coming. Alto has offers, man. He's got offers from other schools, and they got deep pockets. Alto's a big name. It's gonna be hard to win that one. Coach Kelly has been trying to get players back to Louisiana that hit the portal and LSU needs. No. Southern Heat, no. Coach Kelly is trying to get players that are better than the players on his team. It doesn't matter where they're from. Irrelevant. The fact that they're from Louisiana may be advantageous. The fact that they're from Houston may be advantageous, but that is not his agenda. His agenda is not to get players back to Louisiana. Maybe keep them in the state if he's recruiting, but not to get players back to Louisiana. That's you're spreading misinformation there. I can go to the transfer portal. We can go. And what's cool is you can see what high school they're from, and I'll pull it up. And this is the kind of misconception we're in. If he's trying to get players back to Louisiana, then why is he taking a kid from Maryland, a linebacker from Oregon, a guy from Michigan or Missouri or New Jersey? Getting Zy Alexander from Southeastern. Let me tell you something. Zy Alexander's a beast at the FCS level. This is an opportunity to move up. Still, not a single player from Louisiana that he's bringing back to the state that left. From Florida, Texas, Georgia. 1 from Louisiana, 2 from Louisiana. You got a Bama kid coming back, right? Aaron Anderson didn't play at Bama. Cool. Jalen Lee coming back home after 2 years in Florida. Literally, none of this class. What was it, 2? What are we doing? You're just writing craziness. That's how it works. When I see something in chat, I read it and I gotta back it up with facts. I cannot give bullshit takes. I cannot go around and give my opinion on things without having case studies, without having proof. Like somebody told me the other day, the average class is smaller now than it was before the portal. Before the portal, they scored 25. Now they only signed 20. And I'm like, yeah, I know, man. COVID. I just did a whole fucking monologue about it. And people aren't doing research. You ever written a paper in college? And I don't mean to get on you, Southern Heat, but if you ever write a paper in college and you make any claim whatsoever, you need a works cited. You need a reference. You need a case study. You need to be referencing something that already existed. You don't get to say anything. You just don't. Now, I'm like a cyber expert. I can go to court and I can testify as a cyber expert. So maybe I can sit down and I can say something about cyber and somebody can quote it and be like, well, this was quoted and this was given to me by a cyber expert by the name of Rico. He worked at the NSA for 10 years. He did this, he did that. Now you have credibility. But what you just said doesn't make any sense. I just looked at the whole thing. He's getting starters from Jersey, Missouri, Michigan, Oregon, Maryland. Doesn't make sense. I want to challenge everybody here. There's 122 people in here. I want to challenge you guys. When you write something on a message board or in a comment or under a video, challenge you to be factual, not subjective, not opinionative, not my favorite ice cream is this or the best ice cream is this. Slow down. Think about it for a second. Just pause. And then try to find supporting documentation to prove your point. Just try. I dare you. It's a little more difficult. You won't have diarrhea of the mouth. You are asking for trouble. I don't know what you're saying, Yak. You are asking for trouble. I'm not sure what that's about. You're going to have to let me know in reference to what. Colorado got that defensive end from Missouri. I just talked about him. We're good to go. Rico, enjoy your show and speaking the truth. Thank you for calling out ESPN and their vested interest in properties they own, cough, cough, the SEC. Do you think that transfer portal will create? Do you think that the transfer portal will create a Pete Rozelle NFL effect on ESPN where a larger pool of universities have a shot at the playoffs and national championships? So, I know what you mean. Here's the deal. In college, the overarching advantage that any team has is talent. You can't bridge the gap with coaching. You just can't. If you have the better players, 80 to 90% of the time, you're going to win the game. Period. You can have a great coach, and they can't bridge that gap. Shout out to K-State, amazing coaches, and anybody else out there who's a great coach but doesn't have the talented players to get there. There are some phenomenally coached teams that'll never win because they don't have the talented players. This is what happens when you put 4- and 5-star kids up against 3-star kids in mass. Sure, you can win here and there one time. But consistently, it's a bad deal. And that's why, for the longest time, the college football playoffs, these 4 teams, have been blowouts. It's because one of the teams is far superior to the other. The only reason Ohio State and Georgia were even close this last season, is because they had equivalent talented players. They recruit on an equivalent plane. But when you start seeing a team like TCU who doesn't recruit on an equivalent plane, they're not going to win. Now, TCU had a bunch of NFL guys. 8 of them just went in the draft. TCU was not 50 points worse than Georgia. They weren't. If you think that's the case, then like K-State played Georgia closer. K-State's not a better team than TCU. It's just matchups. It's just the way it goes. But one thing they could have played 100 times. And Georgia's going to win 90 of those games. 90. Coaching cannot bridge the gap, the deficiency in talent. It just can't. It doesn't. Not at the collegiate level. It just doesn't. The NFL, this NFL effect, all the talent is equivalent, with the exception of blue chip marquee Hall of Fame players. The talent is so close in proximity that coaching makes so much of a difference. Coaching is everything, right? Strategy, terminology, game management, all this stuff. Coaching is everything, preparation. So there's just this fine line you got to walk, and you got to be careful with it. But, yeah, there's players out there that, now, don't get me wrong, there are teams that fall flat on their face because there's no camaraderie, there's no culture, there's no foundation of trust, and there's no development of the players. And that's what's been killing Miami for years. That's what just impacted Texas A&M this last year. It's a problem. But until there's a balance of talent and recruiting, you're going to see this really top-heavy teams succeeding. But you can't have a balance in recruiting when there's an entire TV organization or news outlet that is biased and fills the air with propaganda. And that is all ESPN is. That's all ESPN does. And guess what? I don't fault them for it. I'll call them out on it, but they have to support their investment. You'd be a fool not to. So the minute they started to own the ACC, the minute they bought the ACC network in 2014, you magically heard how great Clemson is. They immediately became relevant, and it's never stopped. And that's not because of it. And listen, you can be like, well, they got Deshaun Watson and they got, Trevor Lawrence. Yes. You know how they got those kids? Because they turned on their TV and they saw how great the university was and they saw how great the conference was. The recruiting is influenced by the TV network. No one's denying the greatness of the players. What we're saying is there is a TV network out there advocating for particular conferences more so than others. And that is influencing a generation of high school kids. And it's a domino effect, and we can't get away from it. And you know how we can't get away from it? Because even when the players leave the school, even when we try to balance out the recruiting, and a player leaves the school, the fans go, ha, you got our leftovers. Ha, you got one of our walk-ons. Oh, you got a guy that couldn't start at Ole Miss. Oh, you guys are getting junked. No, this is the balancing of the talent. And they're just still sitting here, oblivious to it. They don't even understand what's going on. And you wonder why the players, when it's time to transfer, if the SEC is so amazing, then why do quarterbacks keep transferring into the conference to start? Why? Why can't a no-name dude show up and beat out your guy? Why does every no-name guy want to transfer in? Oh, it's the coaching. The coaching's great. Yeah, I know. Coaches are attracted to the money too. And once you start sharing that revenue, it's a wrap. Let me give you guys an example. I get asked almost every single day, can Texas and Oklahoma be competitive in the SEC? And I said, dude, they're going to win that damn conference. Texas and Oklahoma are going to dominate the SEC within 5 years. Why? Because the minute you join the SEC, you now have SEC money. You now have SEC backing. You now have ESPN telling people how great your school is. Not that they're overrated, not that they can't perform. You're not going to see any more negative campaigns about Sark not being a good coach or how down is Oklahoma. You're not going to see any of that. You're going to see all the positive banter about these two schools, about these two programs. It's going to be a total culture shift in ESPN's coverage of these two schools. And that's going to influence high school kids to want to go to these two schools. It happened. It happened for A&M and Missouri. And within the first 2 years of being in the SEC, Missouri was in the damn championship of the conference, back-to-back years. A no-name, a middle-of-the-road Missouri, and A&M goes out and gets a Heisman Trophy winner in Johnny Manziel after being just a run-of-the-mill school in the Big 12. You're telling me Johnny Manziel performed better than Brad Smith? Same time frame. But Brad Smith was doing it in the Big 12? Help me out. Help me understand. And that's my point. It's propaganda. And it's going to happen. You got to invest in what you own. But when you start hearing an 11-1 Clemson team is better than an 11-1 TCU or Baylor team, just remember who you're hearing it from. Not that it's any true, not that it's any realer or accurate than anybody else. Just remember where you're hearing it from. That's all I'm saying. Don't forget the source. So shout out to you for recognizing it. SEC has been over-recruiting for years. Yes, CS, but the difference is, back in the day when the SEC was over-recruiting positions, they would ask kids to gray shirt. And if you guys aren't familiar with gray shirting, I'll break it down. When you get recruited as a player, they can only have 25 in a recruiting class. So anybody over 25, they would talk them into being either preferred walk-ons or gray shirting. And all gray shirting means is, number one, you don't get to practice. You are not a part of the football team. You actually, technically, don't even have to go to class. You're not a part of the university yet. They're telling you to delay your enrollment until January, till the next semester. Now, you can go to class, but you cannot practice and be a part of the team if you're gray shirting. And the reason for this is that 25, if anybody in that initial 25, oh, by the way, after you gray shirt and you enroll in the January class, theoretically, you would count against the next season's 25. So it's a carryover, right? But no, in that first 25, if anybody gets injured, drops out of school, becomes academically ineligible, they can retroactively assign you when you sign up in January. They can add you and say you were part of that initial 25 from the previous year, and it keeps them all in a balance. In 2013, Nick Saban tried to do this to a recruit. I forget his name. Defensive end. He's in the NFL today. No one gives a shit. It was this defensive end, and he was about to sign a letter of intent with Alabama. And the morning of the letter of intent, maybe the day before, they informed him, hey, man, we don't have a scholarship for you. We need you to gray shirt, and you'll enroll in January. And a lot of kids will not say anything when they're told to gray shirt by their coach. They won't. They won't say a word because they're embarrassed. Because they've been telling everybody they know, their friends and family, and all their coaches and everybody, hey, I'm going to Alabama. I'm going to Alabama. And when they find out, oh, my God, you still have a scholarship. We just need you to gray shirt till January. So, you can do. Huh? They're embarrassed, and they still sign that letter of intent. But shout out to the young man in 2013. And I should look up his name. Let me do this. Because he's in the NFL today and no one cares. Saban forces kid to gray shirt. Nick Saban and gray shirting. They can't sign 30, so they force 5 guys to sign. There's stories on this. I'm trying to find the guy. Coach Saban said he wished he would have been able to tell me this in August instead of now. And the only reason he can't sign me is because he can only sign 25. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I know that the kid, for the first time ever, a kid stood up for himself and refused to sign the letter of intent to Alabama. No, if you want me, give me a scholarship. And he ended up going to Missouri. He's in the NFL today. True story. Now, why would you gray shirt? There are reasons to gray shirt, outside of the sleight of hand trying to beat the 25 limit. Now, there's no limit for the last 2 years. There's no limit last year or this year. So nobody's gray shirting. You don't have to. You can just sign as many as you want. But when would you use a gray shirt? Why is there even such a thing? I'll tell you why. Because if you're injured in your senior year of high school and you don't want to waste a year of eligibility redshirting, let's say you tear your ACL your last game of your high school season and you know you're going to be down and out for a whole year, then you gray shirt. So when you get to school, you don't spend a year of eligibility. You're still recovering from your injury, and then you enroll the following year, and now you have another red shirt, and it saves a year of eligibility. Everybody gets that. Another team that uses gray shirting all the time is BYU, and that's because of the missions they go on. And I'm not quite sure on the specifics of what time frame they apply the gray shirt, like before they go on mission, after, when they get back, whatever. But it's thoroughly used by BYU for their missions. Outside of that, bro, I can't think of any other legitimate reason to ask a kid to gray shirt. If you don't have a scholarship for him, stop trying to lock him in. Stop trying to force him and then give him the news at the last second, right before he's about to sign. You put the pressure on that young man to have to come out and tell the truth. And shout out to the guy. He went to Missouri, and he said, nah, you ain't getting me, bro. You don't want to give me a scholarship? I'm out of here. I'm going to go to another school. And he flipped. And everybody's like, how did he flip from Bama to Missouri? Well, he flipped to a school that wanted him, just letting you know. If you're wearing the most dominant brand in college football today, baby, go Dogs. Yeah, it's probably Laundry Day. Rico, you're a dog of knowledge and have a great personality for being an alpha. Thank you so much, Risers. Yeah, man, I am an alpha male. I don't shy away from it. I walk into a room, I size everybody up. I look around, I'm like, yo, what do you want to do? What are you trying to do? All right, if you watch my videos, I teach MMA. I'm a problem in real life. I walk around like that. But at the same time, I respect other men who are just as strong, just as alpha. I just don't want to be around them, but I respect the hell out of them. Game recognized game. But I can't kick it with a bunch of alphas. I don't like it. Real people know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm a lion. This is my pride, bro. Step off. So there's that. That's why I don't ever have a co-host. I got an identical twin brother. He's live streaming right now on his channel, Morant's Rants. We ain't ever kicking it, bro. It is what it is. Nah. Can't have it. But yeah, game recognized game. I appreciate you guys. I try to have a nice personality. Most ladies like it. I'm just saying. Most ladies like it. Shout out to you. 119 people. There's got to be one. Okay, never mind. Rico, yeah, shout out to you. Okay. Totally agree that the foundation of any solid program is high school recruiting with some portal pickups. I liken it to long-term versus short-term investing. Sure, diversify. You must have both to be profitable now and later. Well, I want to make this very clear, Surfer Boy. I don't think the transfer portal is short-term investing. I think it's long-term investing. And what I think you're investing in is your future as a coach. I think coaches are doing whatever they can to better themselves for the remainder of their career. Think about it. So whether they got to get a transfer portal player now or a high school recruit, I get it in the health of your program, sure. But some of these guys got to win now. Some of these guys got to win to keep their jobs. Shout out to Indiana. Indiana does not have time. Boston College, hell free? Tom Allen? Coach is on a hot seat. Hell free at Boston College. Tom Allen. Maybe Gundy, because he had a terrible offseason. Obviously, Fisher, hey, Jimbo Fisher, man. I'm just saying. There's a smooth-looking dude in California, USC. He's a quarterback's coach right now. His name's Cliff Kingsbury. And he was once at A&M as the quarterback's coach for Johnny Manziel. He's got a track record. How about Tom Herman needs another job? Tom Herman, if he lands Casey Thompson down in FAU, Tom Herman will be back in the Power 5 in no time because he's a great recruiter. There's some Texas dudes out there. Joey McGuire at A&M. Hey, Jimbo Fisher, somebody's going to take your seat, bro. you're on the hot seat. So, yeah, for me, I think some of these guys on the hot seat don't have time to only recruit the high schools and get a good recruiting class in because they're not going to be able to develop them. They're going to be gone and fired. You think Dino Babers has time to get some high schoolers? Dino's in trouble. No, Butch Jones is in trouble, y'all. Butch Jones. What did he win? 3 games? Watch this. Let's look this up. Let me show you guys something. Arkansas State football results. Let's go year by year. Where's the year by year results? Where's their their history right here. Check this out. I don't know if you guys can see the text really small, but they've been in the Sun Belt for a while. But if you look at Arkansas State, they had a guy named Steve Roberts, and Steve Roberts was around, and he only won no more than 5 games. And they had this dude for a decade, bro. 7 years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now they had him for 8 years. Now 2 of his years got adjusted to 0-6. I don't know. Were they cheating? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And then Gus Malzahn was there for a year, went 10-3. Hugh Freeze went 10-3. Brian Harsin 8-5. Look at that. 3 coaches in a row. 3 coaches in a row. Hugh Freeze, Gus Malzahn, Brian Harsin, SEC's finest, right? Then they went Blake Anderson. And they fired Blake Anderson for going 4-7. And Blake Anderson, maybe they didn't fire him. Did Blake take a different job? 1 second. Where did Blake go? I shouldn't talk crazy. Blake's at Utah State now? Okay. My bad. I know this. I knew this. Check it out. Blake Anderson, 4-7. And they go and get Butch Jones. Look at Butch Jones, bro. 2-10, 3-9. Back-to-back years, Butch Jones. Back-to-back years, Butch Jones. That man needs to be unemployed. He's on the hot seat. Could you imagine if you went two wins and then 3 wins? It's Arkansas State. No one cares. They play where? They play in Sun Belt? Or did they move to American? They play in Sun Belt? Check this out. They got Gavin Potter, linebacker, coming over from Kansas. It's because Kansas did a huge upgrade in their talent, and Gavin Potter couldn't play there anymore. Okay? I don't know much about Deontay Thompson. He's coming up from Lamar? No, Incarnate Word. He's coming from Incarnate Word. Okay, FCS guy. J.T. Shrout, coming over from Colorado. And before he was at Colorado, he was at Tennessee with Butch Jones. Back in 2017, 2018, that's when he was getting recruited to go to Tennessee. So this is his quarterback. Good luck, man. That's going to be your starting quarterback this year, J.T. Shrout. But they got a bunch of guys. I'm not impressed. Arkansas State. Butch Jones on the hot seat, bro. Butch Jones on the hot seat. Totally agree. Yep. That just lets you know he's got that dog in him. All right. We just need those dogs coming in on that offensive line. Protect 2 at all costs. Twitch, you're talking about the Colorado offensive line. I believe it's very strong. I believe the Colorado offensive line is set and it's strong. Getting Reggie in, yesterday, is a big deal. Reggie Young II. Getting Jack Bailey in. These are 2 legitimate starters. The whole team, I think the offensive line is good. I don't think you'll see another offensive line pickup. I just don't. I like what they got, and they're good to go. Will KJ Jefferson put the Razorbacks in the playoffs? Mark Jennis. Mark, listen to me, bruh. You have no control over who's in the playoffs. All you have control over is if you win your conference or not. You can't guarantee a playoff spot. Clemson won the ACC last year and didn't get in the playoffs. So you can win your conference and not get in the playoffs. Now, KJ Jefferson's a nice quarterback. I like the guy. Saying he's going to get them in the playoffs means who are they going to win? Who are they going to beat? Let's go. Let's pull it up. Once again, always have case studies and proof of what you're about to say, right? So what is Kansas football schedule 2023? Whoa. Sorry, my hands are cramped under this desk. I can type extremely fast. It just doesn't look good on tape. All right, they're beating West Carolina. They're beating the bricks off of these teams right here. They're going to beat BYU. Shout out to LSU. They're going to LSU. You think they're beating LSU in LSU? Bananas, bro. I got them with 1 loss here. I got them losing right here, both of these games, Ole Miss and Bama. That's 3 losses. How are they going to the playoffs? How are they going to the playoffs, bro? They got to go LSU and Bama. They got them both on the road. How do you see this going down? How do you see this going down? Oh, my goodness. The homers are strong. The homers are strong. You guys are beautiful people, I promise. Shout out TC. Yep. Coach TC, that's the wide receivers coach at Jackson State, now the head coach. Good dude. Shout out to him. At CU, with all the new kids coming in the locker room, management will be vital to the success of the season, especially if they get off to a slow start. Coach Prime's ability to inspire will be key as well. Yeah, I don't think so. I think you guys are underestimating like subordinate leaders, internal team leaders. These guys are coming from winning programs. These guys all have winning attitudes. They're not fragile and falling apart. They're used to winning. They come from winning pedigrees. They get there. They know what it takes. And if you've ever met a dog, if you ever met a dude who's like about that shit, you ever seen a guy on the court and he's always winning, and then he wants to play a guy one-on-one, and the other guy beats him? What does he always want? Run it back. Wants a rematch. He's focused. Or he'll say, damn, I'm just tired. Oh, hey, good game, man. You're better than me. But it's not like he's not coming back to the court the next day. It's not like he doesn't want to be there. He still knows his purpose and what he's there for. Some of these young men are self-driven and inspired by themselves and their own goals and their own aspirations. Like, how many of these guys, before the spring game, how many of these guys you think went and hit the club? Or how many of them said, I got to go and grind tomorrow on TV and show out? And they're going to lose. And they're going to lose their one-on-one battles. But they still show up to do it. They got a different mentality. You're going up against Travis Hunter every day. That's the best receiver you saw all week. You're going up against Jimmy Horn Jr. That's the best receiver you covered all week. That's the mindset you got to have. You ain't got to be afraid of losses on the field. That's for teams with poor work ethic, terrible culture, and yeah, terrible atmosphere and esprit de corps and all that. Sure, Coach Prime's primary goal is to foster an environment of winning, determination, and grit, right? And competition. It's the greatest thing we ever heard from Nick Saban and Pete Carroll, is their practices were harder than the games because of the competition. So if you ever got on the field, you earned the right to be there, and you were just a straight beast. Well, what do you think is going to happen in Colorado? You think it's a bunch of fragile kids who don't want to be there? They're going to fall apart? They got rid of all that meek, mild-mannered bullshit. They got rid of it. And if you lose, you go hit an extra set. You go lift more. You go work harder. They're built from that cloth. It's not a bunch of insecure, fragile dudes. It's a bunch of alpha males, a bunch of dogs. Not insecure nonsense. You can lose and get up and keep going. Because short-term memory. Nah. Don't worry about the locker room. Don't worry about the management of the locker room. Coach Prime's number one goal, number one job, is to get the right people in that locker room. That's taken care of. At that point, you don't need to worry about who's in there. You get the right people in the room, you can turn around and go do your other stuff. You ain't got to worry about it. You got the right people for the job. They understood the assignment. You think any kid is signing up doesn't understand the assignment? You don't think they understand that there's a target on their back, or they got to overcome an insurmountable amount of odds? You know what it is? They're like, yo, there's 6 ranked teams in the Pac-12. I know what it is. I know what I'm signing up for, coach. Let's go. That's why I said I appreciate the dog mentality of these guys to all show up on a trip together. You know they've already signed 12 transfers at your position. 12 defensive linemen and edge rushers. Arden Walker don't care. He just commits today. Because I'm from Colorado. I won state championships here. My father went here. It's a legacy. Let's go. You think Arden Walker's going to need a pep talk and be, hey, man, don't be so down on yourself. You guys lost. Missouri wasn't winning shit in the SEC. And he goes out there and he becomes a starter at the end of the season. You're talking about a 6-win team. He's out there and he earns his starting job last game of the season and the bowl game. That tells me on a losing team or a average team, he was giving more than everybody else. You worried about his mental psyche? Come on, bro. Come on. Morant's Ren says, I'm here. What did I miss? Surfer Boy, I know you're a supporter of the program. I don't mean to talk to you like that. What I'm trying to get conveyed to you and everybody else in here is there's a certain mindset. There's a certain mindset from champions, from grown men who want to be great. And it's called being self-driven. Think about it. Self-driven. You can be driven or you can be hyphenated. Self-driven. Okay. That's why one of Coach Prime's main characteristics in kids he coaches is character. Locker room management shouldn't be an issue. 100% correct, Twitch. There is no emphasis on locker room management. They will manage themselves. They will inspire themselves. They will, and it just happens seamlessly. I'm telling you, I've done this in the Army. I've led hundreds of soldiers in the Army. And the one thing you want to do is get the right mindset, and then you can put them in there, and they can just do amazing things, especially when your back's turned. They lead each other, bro. It's amazing. What miss just came on? I don't know what miss. I don't know what that means. Who's next on the list for the Buffs? I try not to guess who's next on the list for the Buffs. We'll know. Toxic as fuck is the name. Okay, you're here from TikTok. Shout out to you, Daniel Turner. I appreciate anybody who's cross-supporting me. You're from TikTok. You're from YouTube. Hey, man, we're all here. It's Rico Knows, and we're all about it. So I appreciate you. Straight up. Hey, shout out to Bebe. Who's next for Colorado? Well, of the 10 players that visited this last week, let me see if I got a list somewhere. Give me a second. I might have a list somewhere. That's not it. Colorado had players visiting. I thought I had them on a list. That's the football team visiting. There it is. Dude, get at me, dude. Let me see if I can pull this up. So, of the players visiting, can you guys read that? I hope you guys can read that. Of the players visiting, Tommy Waugh is still the number one target, if you ask me. Now, this is a young man from Kentucky, 4 years of eligibility, and for me, he was the prize. But he's still waiting because he's got to visit West Virginia this week. So, gonna hear what West Virginia has to say. But for me, this is the guy. 6'4", 278, big Tommy. Big deal. And I have them in order. If you guys see this rating over here, you guys see this rating column? Number 1, this was my number 1 target. And then I put likely to commit. Look who I put number 1, likely to commit. Arden Walker, just committed today. He was the number 1 guy likely to commit on my list. Number 2, Bishop Thomas. It already happened. I thought he was the most essential, second most essential, and second most likely. Reggie Young, right here, he already committed. So you already got these 3 guys. Waiting on Demi, wishing and hoping and praying on some of these other guys, and then they went ahead and got J.J. Hawkins already. Jordan Buchanan's down here. They also got 2 extra guys that were on the trip that I didn't know that were on the trip. But so next on the list of who they need to get, probably Demi and Tommy Waugh. They're waiting on them. So those might be the next names you hear, but I try not to. You guys, I make charts, bro. This is what I do. I sit around and I make products, and I type them up myself. I got nothing else to do, bro. I'm here for you guys. All right, Twitch09. When you're getting dogs to turn a program around, you have to have a couple of knuckleheads in the locker room to toughen up the roster, so management will be vital, in my opinion. Yeah, Surfer Boy, that's the wrong way to turn your program around. Knuckleheads are not welcome anywhere. There is no program out there looking for knuckleheads. They're looking for first-round draft picks. They're looking for professionals. They're looking for Shane Cokes. They're not looking for knuckleheads. The knuckleheads that you put up with because you think they're superior in talent, they're a nuisance. It's unfortunate. The only reason why teams even have them is because they didn't vet them properly in recruiting. And back in the day, when you recruited a knucklehead, guess what? You're stuck with him. He's on your team. And the only way to get rid of him is to process him out, to make up team rules that he's breaking. So you'd make up team rules. You'd be like, all right, if you miss 3 practices or you're late to 3 meetings, then you lose your scholarship. And you know the one knucklehead that's going to be late to 3 meetings, and you're trying to process him out. And that's just an example. But the point is you don't need knuckleheads. You don't want knuckleheads. That's not the most talented players. The most talented players, nobody's trying to draft a knucklehead in the NFL. It's the guys working hard. It's the guys putting in the extra reps, the extra work. You don't need a knucklehead. That's just such a flawed thought process. It's not cute. There's not a high school team in the world excited that their star player is a knucklehead. Nope. Ajay Hall is sitting in the transfer portal right now because he's a knucklehead. Chris Marshall still smoking weed in the transfer portal because he's a knucklehead or kicked off of the team at Ole Miss. Nobody thinks it's cute. Josh Moten left A&M after getting arrested 3 times in a 1-year period, and now he's at Marshall. They don't want no knuckleheads. They're just settling for it. Let him break another rule. He'll be kicked out of there too. Nobody wants a knucklehead. Rico, why Rant's handsome than you? Hi, Ryda. If you think Morant's Rants looks better than me, you might need your vision checked. I'm healthy. I'm drinking flavored water. I run 5 miles a day. No stress in my life. It looks good on me. No, I hear what you're saying, and you are correct. But Coach Prime ain't for the bull junk. I ain't for that bull junk. So it won't be a problem, is what I'm saying. I feel you. The bull junk. Yeah. Funny Spider knows. This is ridiculous. How do you feel about Big Sal, defensive tackle coach, for Colorado with this new group of players? So, Sal Sunseri. Hey, man. Sal Sunseri is the defensive line coach from Bama coming over. And Sal Sunseri is just an old school Italian dude. I've talked about this in the past. He looks like he's straight out of Goodfellas or Sopranos. He curses a lot. He's my kind of coach. He coaches hard. He doesn't put up with shit. But I think he's better than most people understand if you respond to that type of coaching. I know that the defensive recruits get contacted by Charles Kelly and Sal Sunseri. The defensive line guys do for sure. So they already know what they're getting. You already know what you're getting. He's a known commodity. You've seen him in the videos. You've seen him, on anybody's channel. Bucky's got him on every clip. This guy's got a soundbite for everything, and he's yelling and screaming at you. What I think is important is he is used to seeing elite-level defensive linemen. So knowing what the standard is and trying to get people there is important. Remember, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent, right? Perfect practice makes perfect. So if you're doing the right thing, then you will be perfectly good at it, right? But if you're doing the wrong thing, you're going to be permanently doing the wrong thing. Coach Mack said something the other day, and he said, "Don't do it 1,000 times till you get it right, because then you only got it right once. Do it 1,000 times till you can't get it wrong." And I think Sal Sunseri is from that thought process. These guys are going to be repping, drilling, training, pushing each other, lifting, all that. And it's a brotherhood. It's a brotherhood of, 13 transfers to your front 7. If you include linebackers, we're talking about 15 transfers to your front 7. It's a real problem. So I think they're going to be great. I think they're going to push themselves and push each other. And I think Big Sal has a part of that. Sal Sunseri, shout out to him. Another CU edge rusher hit the portal today. Shout out to him. You're saying one hit the portal to leave, to depart? I'm not tracking it. I'd have to look and check Twitter or something. Or stop looking at committed and hit all. There it is, Alvin Williams. Yep, the room got crowded. That's what it comes down to, guys. Alvin Williams hit the portal. The room got crowded. Too many damn transfers. And it's an upgrade in talent. And more power to him. He was holding it out. But they keep bringing in guys. And you know what? It's the nature of college football. If they keep recruiting guys at your position, you got to take a hint. Or you got to get to work. Have you guys seen what A&M's doing? Texas A&M is recruiting DBs like they didn't get Sam McCall. Texas A&M does not care. Transfers coming in, and they're in order by their chronological order. So they got Tony Grimes first, former 5-star from North Carolina. Everybody's like, oh, they paid a bag to get Tony Grimes. That's cool. Then they went and got Sam McCall. If you guys don't know Sam McCall, he was a package deal to Florida State. He and Travis Hunter were supposed to go to Florida State together. So Sam McCall, Travis Hunter are supposed to go to Florida State. National Letter of Intent Day comes. Sam McCall does what was agreed upon, goes to Florida State. Travis Hunter bounces. All right? So freshman year, Sam McCall doesn't make it at Florida State. He doesn't see the field. He wants out. He got passed by some other guys on the depth chart. He wants out. So he transfers to A&M. And everybody's going, well, they just lost Denver Harris. They need a backfill. They got a young corner. They lost Denver Harris. They're getting Sam McCall. Well, they put Sam McCall as a safety. That's cool. Tyron Smith showed up and left. He's the third one on the list here. Tyron Smith showed up and left. Went back to UTEP. He showed up in the winter and he left in the spring. Jerry Johnson's actually a preferred walk-on from Rice, so that's nothing. He used to play. He used to start. And then Josh DeBerry. Look at that. That's when shit got real. It's like, why are you picking up Josh DeBerry? We already got Sam McCall and Tony Grimes. They don't care. Josh DeBerry's an all-conference ACC corner, jumps in the portal and leaves Boston College, which is super surprising because Boston College's head coach, Helfrey, yeah, everybody says he came over from Ohio State. That's not what really happened. That's an NFL defensive back coach. He will get you to the league. Helfrey, it knows how to develop DBs. And that's why he's always a finalist for some of these DBs in the portal and recruiting. If you're a top-notch corner, Boston College is in your top 6. Happens every time. Pay attention. Anytime you see a corner, and he's going to commit somewhere else, Boston College is in his top 6. Because Helfrey is a great defensive back coach. Now, he's a terrible head coach. Boston College just lost 13-3 to UConn, and they won 3 games this year. Boston College fired their previous head coach for winning 7 games. 7 games. He's now the offensive line coach at A&M, by the way. It's musical chairs, bro. It's all up here. Boston College fires their head coach for winning 7 games, and they hire this Helfrey dude, and for whatever reason, they're keeping him online. They're giving him a chance. He's an NFL guy. I don't think NFL guys do well at the collegiate level. I think we have case studies and proven track records of that. Relax, sweetie. Relax. She's mad. She ain't having it. Come on now. But if you go look at Boston College, and before Helfrey got there, I think it was 2019, they were winning games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games wins. And they fire the guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again. And 1, 4, 6. And what happened last year? 3 wins. This dude's on a hot seat, bro. And you lose Josh DeBerry, an all-conference guy. And you lose an all-conference guy in Josh DeBerry. That's crazy. But yeah, let's say you're at a position and the team signs you. And they keep recruiting that position. They keep signing more guys from that position like you didn't sign. Shout out to Tony Grimes. They're acting like, hey, Tony ain't here, bro. We're just going to keep getting more and more and more. That's what Colorado just did. Colorado kept doing that with edge rushers. Oh, you don't want to leave Alvin Williams? You don't want to leave school? We'll just keep signing guys until you relent, right? Until you acquiesce. If you guys don't know what acquiesce means, it means to give in. People always say acquiesce to your partner, give in to your partner. All right? This kid had to acquiesce. He had to give in to the coaching staff. They said, hey, Alvin, just so you know, you're 10th string now. You're 10th string, Alvin. So it's too bad. Shout out to you, Zion, for letting me know. Oh, Zion even wrote in here, Alvin Williams. My bad. Look, Zion's got the answers, man. Some of you guys got the answers to your school. I cover 133 schools. And Ash is pissed about it. What a football name, Muskrat. Yeah, Muskrat was the prize of the offensive line here late. Bear Bryant flipped even more players at A&M when he took his team to Junction. Coach Bryant ran off 60 players, which was even more than Coach Prime. So this is not the first time. Yeah, it's not running off players. It's a part of the deal. You have a 1-year contract. You have a 1-year contract. That's what your scholarship is. And if they don't renew it, they don't renew it. I apologize for the dog barking. Hey, I'm in the hood. No, I'm not. Ash! Sorry, guys. I should probably mute my mic on that instead of yelling. We'll keep going. I don't know who Alvin Williams is, but isn't it too late to hit the portal unless he's a graduate student? Sports Hub, yes, this is a fact. Now, saying it's too late to hit the portal. They had a couple extra days to file, but that came and went. Alvin Williams could be a graduate student, so that solves everything. Or he could declare that he's entering the transfer portal and not play football next fall. You can do that too. A lot of guys do that in the fall. Like in September, when an underclassman says, I'm joining the transfer portal, you can do that. I want to say Agiye Hall did that. He jumped in the portal and just said, hey, man, just hit me up. I'm good to go. I'm not playing anymore. Oh, no, it was that linebacker. It was the linebacker. It was the UCF linebacker. He said it. He said, hey, guys, just hit me up. And everybody was like, they can't do that. Oh, do they still have UCF in the American? Of course this website does. Of course they're not up to date. Watch this. So if you look up, where is he at? He jumped in the portal way early. Before all this. Did he not? Not John Baptiste. Terrence Lewis, right here. Terrence Lewis. See how it says 12/5/22? Because that was the first day they could all join the portal. But you can quit the team whenever you want if you want. And he reached out and told everybody, hey, you guys can reach out to me. I'm in the portal. I'm good. Contact me. My recruiting's 100% open. Not true. That would be tampering. Not 100% open. You're not in the portal. You can declare it, but you're not in. What's the word? Intends to enter the portal. Yeah, it happens. It happens. All right, let me get back up here, y'all. Still going through the chat. I'm with you guys. If you have any questions, keep adding them. When we get done with the chat, the show's over. So keep it going, or we can roll out. It's all on you guys. Let's go back. Sorry, I'm catching up. I'm doing the best I can. Go look at CU's portal. Yep. What's the outlook on the Michigan Wolverines? Hi, Rida. The outlook is they have a ton of returning players, and they're supposed to do really well this season. That's the outlook. Period. They're supposed to do well. If they don't win the conference, it's a down year for them. They are loaded. They have seniority at every position that matters. So that's Michigan Wolverines' outlook. What linebackers left in the portal should Colorado go after? Manoso Foston. I talked about this at length in my live that I did on linebackers. Please go to my list of lives and find the linebacker one and watch it. And that's all I can say. So I don't want to go over it again because there's content that's created for it. And anybody who watched it would then be watching this one and going, oh my God, he's repeating himself. Yeah. News been quiet on Houston running back McCaskill. Any new info on him? So I do talk to Alton McCaskill on my TikTok. We can send each other DMs. The news is he's got his old running back coach is actually at Miami, but Miami just signed a running back. And he took a trip to Florida. I believe he's on the short list for Arizona State. So there's a bunch of other schools interested in him. So we'll see what happens. Can Colorado go over the scholarship 85 players and then convert the overage to academic scholarships? You know, there's a lot of sleight of hand you can do, Trevor. I will tell you this. No one can go over the 85. Now, how you do that is your business. But to say someone can go over 85 and convert the overage to academic scholarships, it's not what's happening. You never go over the 85. What you're saying is there are players that are going to lose their athletic scholarships, and then they'll be put on academic scholarship. You'd have to apply for school, get your scholarship, whatever you're doing. But there's no athletic advantage there. Now, that being said, there's still 13 scholarships left, or 12, depending on how you count them. And they still have the postgraduate camp on the 30th of May of this month. So they're still in good shape. There's nothing wrong there. I don't think they're going to oversign anyone. They're just not. I think we will see a new premium for teams that are able to develop young talent, allowing the chemistry to be more refined versus teams that are putting together trends with 1 or 2 years left to play. Yeah, Surfer Boy, I don't. I think the premium, I think it all has to do with coaches. I think it all has to do with coaches and where they're at in their careers or where they're at in their, I guess, so like their job security. If you're on the hot seat, you're doing whatever you can to make some moves. But if you can build your foundation, that's what you're doing. Now, don't forget, I told you how they're recruiting nowadays. They're signing 25 guys, and then they're making their best roster with what's left. That's what they're doing. The vast majority of the teams are doing that. And some of these younger teams that are flipping the rosters, it's just the new coach that got hired, and he's flipping the roster. You don't see too many guys that have been entrenched in their position flipping their entire roster with the transfer portal. Nope, it's new coaches. I can go down the list. It's new coaches. For the most signings from the transfer portal, it's something else. Let me see here real quick. Let me show you guys. So these are my transfer portal rankings. And when you look at them, and you look at the top, well, we can put them, I can sort them by gains. Because it doesn't matter at this point. 1 second. And here we go. And if you look, Charlotte, new coach, Biff Poggi. Colorado, new coach, Coach Prime. Arizona State, new coach, Kenny Dillingham. Texas State, new coach, G.J. Kinney. SMU, Rhett Lashley, second year, but you know what it is. UMass, second year, but he just got a hookup, but he had a terrible season. Usually when you have an underperforming season, you have a new coach. Memphis, not a new coach, but they did fire their wide receiver coach. And that got 6 guys to jump in the portal, 6 wide receivers. So they had to backfill with what they got. Holgorsen, he's just trying his best. His seat is hot. Indiana, seat is hot. New coach. Michigan State, seat is hot. Ole Miss, this is what Lane Kiffin does. He flips rosters, flips the schedule. Oklahoma State, I'm on record to tell you the seat is hot. UCLA, Chip Kelly. So Lane Kiffin, Chip Kelly, this is what they're doing. Louisville, new coach. Wisconsin, new coach. Oklahoma, still flipping the roster, but, nothing specific there. BYU, going to the Big 12. A lot of people want to go to the Big 12. Same thing with Houston. I shouldn't have a double standard there. Houston, Cincy, and BYU, a lot of people want to go. South Florida, new coach. New Mexico, new coach. Relevant new coach, by the way. Pretty good. Arkansas, just an upgrade in talent. Auburn, new coach. So in the top 25, James Madison, just an appealing school that people want to go to. USC, a new coach appealing. LSU, a new coach and appealing. Georgia Tech, new coach. Georgia Southern, all their transfers are because they were 5th in the country in passing last year. My point is if you want to go to a school and you want to try to say, well, their approach to recruiting isn't high school based, you got it all wrong. It's a new coach trying to flip the culture and the team. The top 25. You just heard me keep saying new coach, new coach, new coach, new coach. That's what's appealing to transfers, and that's how you bounce and you take over your program. Now, at the same time, at the bottom of the chart, you're going to find entrenched coaches that don't need the transfer portal. First off, all the academies can't get transfers. So let's go there right now. Army, Air Force, and Navy cannot get transfers, so they don't count. Okay, they will not be getting any transfers. Then you got Louisiana. Well, they just didn't sign anybody. But shout out to them. They're actually pretty damn good, right? The Raging Cajun. There's Clemson. They don't need it. Wyoming's just not a desirable place to go. It's looking toxic. Northwestern had a terrible season, looking toxic. They signed some more players. This has to be updated, by the way. But there's Bama. Losing players. A lot of these guys down here losing players. But there's Georgia. It's not that they don't need the transfer portal to be better. These guys down here are actually dumping players into the portal. They're dumping players into the portal so they can recruit more from high school. And they have this luxury. If you start looking at these places, these are not coaches on the hot seat. These are coaches that are, Stanford just got a new coach, but they can't get transfers. They're not allowed to. I hope everybody understands what I'm trying to say. You have the luxury back down here, Penn State, Ohio State. You don't need transfers. You're not pressed. Utah, you're not pressed. It's a different environment. It's not by choice. It's just the reality of the situation that each of these coaches are in. So please understand that. We're good, though. But I hear you, Surfer Boy. Where's Alton McCaskill going? I think I've answered this 100 times. I'm not a coach, but wouldn't be surprised if CU moved any of those athletic players to linebacker if needed. Well, to be fair, when you hear edge is a defensive end / outside linebacker. Some of these guys are outside linebackers. So, yes, if you're talking about middle linebackers, inside linebackers, weak linebackers, Mike linebackers, will linebackers, whatever people want to call them, it doesn't matter. Get your defensive scheme out there. Get your players on the field. Give me your best 11. Find me guys who can get you the ball. You're straight. The Boise State horse logo helmets are fire, too. It didn't make my top 10, but I'm with you, Surfer Boy. I like the – oh, no. Boise State made my team because I like the blue on their jerseys. It wasn't just helmets, though. It was actually jerseys and helmets combined. It was uniforms. Facts. I don't know why you wrote facts. You got to tell me why. Rico, what do you think about Georgia State, Jeffrey Clark? I owe you an answer. Matt. I'll write it down. I already have Larry Nixon, and I'll go and I'll give you a more refined answer on Jeffrey because I do know the name. I do know who he is. I watch tape on Georgia State. I'm in Georgia. I watch tape on Georgia State and Georgia Southern all the time, but I want to give it to you. I want to be straight. Dan, bro, you're not a Dogs fan? I've been a Dog fan from the Herschel days. I am sorry to hear that. My dad got me hooked at a young age. Yeah, I'm not a fan of any team. I want to make this very clear. For me to stay impartial and be factual and be relevant and be appealing to the masses, I cannot be biased. So who I enjoy watching changes from season to season. The teams I'm excited about are all derived from the transfer portal and who's getting what. And because I pay so much attention to players' careers and what they traverse through and what they go through that I don't really care for a team. You know, a team is just a bunch of colors. There's a kid in here right now. At the beginning of this, somebody was saying, LOL, you got our leftovers. You're getting one of our walk-ons. Colorado getting a bum from LSU. You know, whatever. Are you an LSU fan? Are you not a fan of the players on the team? Because you're talking about a guy who was on your team and you're not pulling for him. That would be the equivalent of me saying, you know, Caleb Mathis. Oh, you got Caleb Mathis. Oh, so what? You took one of our walk-ons? How are you not a fan of players on your team? And that's the biggest gripe I have with all the major universities. Is like if you're not supporting the players on your team, and then when they depart your team, you're going to say something negative. I've heard the most negative things about players. Oh, Bear Alexander didn't do homework. Bear Alexander wasn't practicing hard and lifting and doing homework. Really? If he wasn't doing homework, how'd he pass admissions? How is he eligible to play at USC? It's just negative propaganda bullshit in chat rooms and message boards and comment sections. Whatever happened to the classy fans who were like, hey, man, great. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger. I hope you do some great things over there. I hope you represent. Hope you kill it. Where are those people? I just want to know where the classy fans are. The people who support people as they depart. You know, I grew up a Cowboys fan. I want to be clear with you guys. I grew up a Cowboys fan, Dallas Cowboys fan. And I was Emmitt Smith fan. And when Emmitt Smith left the Cowboys to go to the Cardinals, and all my friends and family weren't cheering for Emmitt anymore, I looked around and thought, you guys are fake friends, bro. Drake told me about you, right? Drake talked about this. I don't need no fake friends. You don't like him anymore? Are you crazy? And that's when I stopped being a fan of teams. That's when it matters to me, is when I see a guy like Devontae Adams leave, or Green Bay fans not like Aaron Rodgers. I don't like any of this. All you guys are, if you're a fan of a university and you don't like the players when they depart your university, then you're a fan of some colors, bro. You're a fan of a jersey and a helmet sticker. You're not a fan of anything more than a jersey and a helmet sticker. You are a fan of a brand, not the people on the team, not the players. You're not a fan of other humans. You treat them like commodities. You treat them like trash. You say negative things about them, and I can't get down with you. Because I might change up and pick a different platform, or one day get hired by another company, and you're not going to rock with me. You're going to say, oh, he's a sellout. I used to watch Rico when he was independent, but now he's on contract. He's a sellout. Sound familiar? People do this to music artists all the time. Don't do it to these players. Support them. I don't care where they go. Support them. If you're really a fan, you'd be like, yeah, man, I'm really pulling for that guy. He's great in our locker room. I hope he's great over there. But I don't hear it. I don't hear it. Tell him, Rico, straight up. What up, Rico? Just out here waiting on that Jay Buchanan commit. Yeah, aren't we all? Remember, he's got other visits. But, yeah, I like Jordan Buchanan a lot. LSU ain't bringing players back. We telling to get players worldwide for fan base and win games. Yeah, we're trying. Yes, this is a fact. So the way you win, these guys always tell me, the SEC, it just means more down here. I'm like, okay, bruh. Who's Georgia's best player? It's Brock Bowers, dude. Where's he from? Northern California? Where's Bryce Young from? California? CJ Stroud from? California? Where's Matt Corral from? California? Jaden Daniels? I'll wait. You guys don't understand. If you're recruiting nationally, you become relevant. That's what it is. When Reggie Bush and USC was dominating, they weren't getting California kids. Lindell White was from Colorado. Dwayne Jarrett was from Jersey. Big Mike Williams was from Florida. This ain't nothing new. Tommy Frazier was from Florida. Nebraska wasn't recruiting. All the players weren't from Omaha. Well, we get all them linemen from there. Stop it, man. Any team that has been great recruited nationally. I could do this all day. I'm built for this. We can't have these conversations, y'all. Y'all get me going. I just be sitting here just spitting at you. I remember I was at a barbershop not too long ago here in Georgia. These guys were talking. And they were just going off about who's the greatest of all time, who's this, that, or whatever. And I'm just sitting there just going, oh, my God. I want my hair cut, bro. I can't give any input. I just sit there and act like I don't know about sports. I swear to you. They're sitting there talking about sports. And I just be sitting there like, oh, okay. And it's just eating at me because they're just, and I hate to say it, they're ignorant. They don't know what they're talking about. It happened to me at my poker tournament. Remember, guys, I was in Maryland playing a poker tournament about a month ago. Some of you guys don't know. I was in Maryland. I played in a $1,100 buy-in poker tournament. It was $1,100 to play. And I said, I've never been in a tournament that big, like with the buy-in being $1,100. So I went ahead and said, I'm doing it. I'm here. Let's go. I said, how long is it going to take to find out the win? They said, oh, we'll finish it today. It might be 2, 3 in the morning, but we'll finish it. I was like, all right, I'm game. Let's go. So I sign up. I sit down at my table. And I get focused because I just put $1,100 on. Now, look, y'all, I ain't rich. I ain't broke, but I ain't rich. All right? I've been in the Army over 20 years. Money's money. And I pay a lot of child support. Shout out to my ex-wife and my baby mama. But I'm sitting there, and these dudes start talking about the NFL draft. And I'm trying to focus on the cards. And they're talking about the draft. And they're saying the dumbest stuff I've ever heard about why so-and-so is doing this, who's going to do this. And I'm like, please just stop. Just stop. And I'm trying to focus. And eventually, by the way, I finished 10th in the tournament, just so we know. Just so you know, I finished 10th in the tournament. Shout out to me. Yeah. Shout out to Russ. Anyways, it kills me when I hear people talk about sports around me. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's like these comments. Some of them are killing me. But it is what it is. ESPN built up Duke basketball. They want to do the same for the Buffs in football. Not necessarily, James Hunter. They have no financial investment in Colorado. Let's make this very clear. They don't have any financial investment in the Pac-12 or Colorado. So they're trying to get ratings. So they might do like a pregame show about it. They might talk about it positively, but it is not advantageous for them to gas up Colorado unless it's ratings driven. But for the vast majority of their investments, SEC and ACC dominance is important. Just so we're clear. Rico, what are your thoughts on Georgia freshman tight end Lawson? Lucky, I think he could be Brock 2.0. Yeah, I don't think there's a Brock 2.0. I think everybody needs to stop making comparisons to previous players that were generational or great. There's not another Brock Bowers lying around. There's not another one every year. There's not one in the draft. Like, I just saw the draft happen. No, there's not one every year. Stop it. It's not real. Who's the other kid they got? The kid from West Forsyth. I'm forgetting his name right now. And it never happens. But there's so many names up here. The kid from West Forsyth, though. He's actually okay. He was skinny, 6'6", but he's a good player as well. It's about the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. Got it. Facts. Yep. K-State versus Bama was the same result as Georgia versus TCU. Correct. But see, what people think is when you see a result like that, everybody goes, yeah, look, I told you the SEC's dominant. Slow down. Because the SEC is not Bama and Georgia. Those are Bama and Georgia. They would be Bama and Georgia in any conference. You get what I'm saying? Like, they would still be great in any conference. The SEC is all them other 12 teams. And they were terrible. So, I'm just letting you know. I watched Ole Miss get the brakes beat off of them by Texas Tech. I saw a miracle happen for Arkansas to beat Kansas. I can't even begin to tell you how bad Florida looked against Oregon State. Or Kentucky being shut out by Iowa, who wasn't great. The list goes on and on. It is what it is. The conference is not strong top to bottom. It's very strong at the top. Not top to bottom. The very top. This is why everybody says Georgia's got a cupcake schedule. You play in the SEC, how's it a cupcake schedule? Just somebody let me know. Denver Harris' dad played at LSU. Shout out to him. Hi, Rico. How's your day been? My day's been all right, Cindy. We're just starting. Go Beavs. All right, go Beavs. Yeah, I like Oregon State. I like their running back room. They have 3 really good running backs. Shout out to Damian Martinez. Shout out to the fact that they didn't have to throw a pass to beat Oregon last year in the second half when they were trailing. They just ran the ball every single play. So I really believe in them. I have an actual follower on TikTok. He names himself after the running back room, after the running backs. So shout out to him. It's pretty cool. Michigan wrestling and football coming. All right. I hear you out. Lincoln Riley was an outlier having a good season with a bunch of transfers that included the Heisman winner. That said, they got beat by a team with solid chemistry at the end of the year in Tulane. Surfer Boy. Great story, but let's retell this narrative. Every significant starter at Florida State is a transfer. Every significant starter at Florida State is a transfer. Okay? Let's make sure we're clear on this. LSU was in the SEC championship game because of a transfer. Tennessee just had a quarterback. Go look at his stats. Hendon Hooker, a transfer. There are so many teams benefiting. Michael Penix Jr. just put Washington in the top 10. Michael Penix Jr. put Washington in the top 10 because he's a transfer from Indiana. Don't tell me USC's an outlier. You're misunderstanding. What USC did was not a surprise to anybody because they had a Heisman Trophy winner. All right, they got this guy. No, it's because they weren't a 4-win team. They won 4 games the previous year because their coach was absolutely terrible and the wheels fell off. But the talent on that team was not a 4-win team. The talent on that team was much better. Much better. But you got to slow down when you say, oh, it only happened for them and they got beat by a team with solid chemistry. Let me tell you something. Tulane? Did you ever study them in 2021? Because I have. Tulane was a great team because of Willie Fritz. Willie Fritz has been at that school for so long, every single player on his team knows his expectations, knows his standards. They know what it is. And you know what happened in 2021? They only won, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games? What was it? They won, but they were competitive in their losses. Something Colorado never was. But if you watch that bowl game against Tulane, the reason USC lost that bowl game is because Caleb Williams had 0 rushing yards. He was injured. He was still injured since the second half of the Utah game. He didn't run the rock at all in that bowl game. And it took an absolute miracle. There's no amount of solid chemistry It was an absolute miracle for Tulane to score 14 points in the final 2 minutes. It's like you didn't watch the game and you're just quoting a tweet somewhere, or you're writing this information that you read somewhere, or you believe in your mind. But if you watch the game, it was a senior Latin team or a very developed team against a hindered star. And the number one thing that's wrong with USC, that was wrong with USC last season, is they score too fast. And when you score that fast, your defense has to get back out on the field. And by the second half, they're exhausted and they can't stop anybody. It's not that they don't have a good defense. They score too fast. They score in 2 or 3 plays. They led the country in yards. They're going ham. And the defense, unfortunately, not enough depth, exhausted by the second half, looking around saying, why the hell are we still out here? Oh, we got the ball back for our offense? Oh, they scored in 3 seconds. Fuck. We're back on the field again. And then the minute the offense stops scoring, you lose the game. And that's what happened. Lincoln Riley's not an outlier. There are many teams following that template of flipping the schedule and winning with transfers. Shout out to South Carolina. But the reality is the winningest programs, they don't need transfers. They got it on their roster. They're deep. LSU will have top talent. Doesn't matter who comes in the conference. In the conference, Louisiana will back them to death. That's facts. LSU call, we haul. Bay 337. Hey, man, I got homers up in here, y'all. It's difficult to deal with. But you're here. I appreciate you guys. Rance ain't lying. Go blue. I'm an alpha. Believe that. Shout out to Willie Bobo. Willie Bobo is a day one supporter of the channel. Shout out to Willie Bobo. I really like that man. He does speak in Ebonics. He does say some crazy things. But we're here. We rock with him. I'm here. I'm not live streaming. Word. I'm here. Shout out to Kim, the beautiful Kim Jones. You love my personality. Thank you very much, Sheila E. I like it too. It's who I am. Kim, I'm the real day one. Sheila, my hamster is named Sheila. She died yesterday. Sheila Easton. Oh, Sheila. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Sheila. Man, I play that ready for the world. You know, my high school sweetheart, her name was Regina. Shout out to Regina Luna out there. Shouldn't have doxed her. I don't know her name today. No, I do. It doesn't matter. But Regina's mother, her name was Sheila. And I'm telling you, every time I hear that song or I see that name, I think of my high school sweetheart's mother. And I can't stand that lady. I'm being real. R.I.P. Sheila. I don't know if she passed away, but the hammy. I'm with you. Any more information on Alton McCaskill? Alton McCaskill, I've talked about him at length. Please go back, watch the beginning of this live stream. Increase the speed and watch it. You can watch it on a 1.25 playback and catch up. But I've talked about him at length. We're good. Sargent, what do you think of Dante Dowdell at Oregon? All right, Solo. So first and foremost, nobody calls me Sergeant. I've been a first sergeant for the last 3 years, so you usually call me top or first sergeant. Some people do call me master sergeant, but I just find it disrespectful. Just call me Rico, man. I'm not wearing a military uniform. I don't have you at parade rest. I'm not trying to flex on you. Don't call me. I know you think it's respectful. Sergeant, nah. I'll ignore you. I owe you an answer on Dante. I'm aware. Jordan Pride to A&M. Word. And Blake Anderson won 10 games his first year at Utah State. Yes, he did. Yo, Prod by Marks. Prod by Marks is my dude. That is Paguno. Shout out to him. He's my day one on TikTok. When I only had female followers, Paguno was the one male there every single day. And he didn't feel inferior about anything. I like that dude. I love it. They're not fragile and falling apart. Correct, Sheila. Devin Booker got the dog in him. Devin Booker. Who is replacing C.J. Stroud? So, Mark, replacing C.J. Stroud, I joke, and I say it's a freshman who's a stud, by the way. But when you look at what chemistry they have, McCord and Marvin Harrison Jr., you cannot go wrong with what you're saying, right? But here's my thing. I don't think he plays that great. So Kindholes is my guy. I'm going to pull him up right now. I need you guys to know the quarterback of the future. So there's Kyle McCord. Got it. All right. They say he's going to be the starter. Devin didn't get a chance to really do anything this offseason. I think, was he injured? Tristan Gebbia coming in from the transfer portal. He's not even a threat to the job. They just gave him a scholarship. Let me tell you, he lost his position at Oregon State to a redshirt freshman. And I saw Gebbia get in the bowl game, and he looked anemic. I watched him play all year. Hey, shout out to Jelani Thurman. I was just watching him play high school ball this year out of Hughes. Good player. 6'6", 250, true freshman. He'll be somebody. But where's Lincoln Kindholes? Where's Kindholes? There's Ray Chad. Is Kindholes not on campus yet? Can I sort it by position? They won't let me. I know he's not down here in these other numbers. So Lincoln Kindholes, if you don't know who he is, there's Devin Brown. Devin Brown's 33, bro. How's he going to be the starter? But if you don't know who Lincoln Kindholes is, let me see here. Ray Chad. Am I just looking over him? Oh, well. Let's go to the recruiting class. He's from South Dakota, and he won state titles. I don't know if he ever lost a game. You know, there's a guy like that in the portal who never lost a game in high school. Let's go to player rankings. So I know no one talks about him because he was only a 4-star. You know, 4 stars aren't that good. It's a joke. But when you look at position rankings and quarterback, there's all these 5-star dudes everybody talks about. Who, by the way, I'm on record for telling you guys, the best quarterback out of this group today is Jackson Arnold. Straight baller. I believe in Jackson Arnold all day. But as you scroll down, you see number 11 down here, and it's Lincoln Kindholes. He's coming from South Dakota, going to Ohio State. And I love Lincoln Kindholes. He's a great basketball player, too. But we don't know how good he is, man, because it's South Dakota. We just don't know. We just don't know how good he is. He's in South Dakota. There's Eli Hosteen. I made a video about him on TikTok today, and I think I posted it on YouTube. So Eli's right here. I like his tape. He looks good. Austin Novosad, he flipped. He was supposed to go to Baylor. Ended up going to Oregon the day of signing. All right. Dylan Lonergan. Hey, relax. Dylan Lonergan. Hey. Sorry, guys. Apologize. Dylan Lonergan is not that good of a quarterback, if you ask me. I don't know why Alabama signed him. Georgia wasn't interested in him. I watched him play for 3 years at Brookwood, and I was never impressed. Go outside. You see the guy beneath him, though? Malachi Singleton? Malachi Singleton going to Arkansas. I'm sure he's going to hit the transfer portal at some point. But Malachi Singleton, since his sophomore year, was a man amongst boys. Now, he got injured his senior year. But this guy right here developed before everybody else. He looked like an adult who pays insurance and child support before everybody else. And I just think he's a beast of a dude. I really do. I like him a lot. So somebody I'm excited about. But at Ohio State, Lincoln Kindholes. Whoever's going to start is going to start. But Lincoln Kindholes is your quarterback of the future, theoretically. I want to show you a guy, though. I think it's 2022 when he came out. Let me see if he's here. And it's Knuth. Knuth from Minnesota. Anybody know who he is? I'm going to pull him up. See, look for the M on the far right. There he is. Jacob Knuth, 30th. From South Dakota, just like Lincoln Kindholes. From South Dakota. 6'4", 207. And Jacob Knuth never lost a game in high school. So he's in the transfer portal right now. And he was linked to he was supposed to go to Stanford. He's supposed to go to Stanford. I haven't heard anything about it yet. But we'll know. Jake Knuth, I'm going to keep my eye on him. He's never lost a game. He's got to be good. I'm joking. I'm not being facetious. I'm just saying. Got to believe in something. Got to believe in one of these recruits. So here we go. But that's who's replacing C.J. Stroud. Lincoln Kindholes or McCord or Devin Brown. One of those three. Butch Jones has been surviving and getting gigs based on his network and his name. This is 100%. All coaching is nepotism. especially in the NFL. But yeah, it's a who's who. It's the Insider Network. You know, it's a good old boys club. They don't like outsiders, guys. There's a guy right now. They got their own YouTube podcast. Every day they do it. This guy named McCready. He's a writer. McCready and Siskel. And McCready and Siskel hate me because I know the transfer portal. They think I don't know the transfer portal. They hate me for it. Siskel is an overweight elderly man, and he's been coaching and doing this for 78,000 hours. And I think he started as a graduate assistant, then he was a positions coach, and ended up being the head of recruiting at Alabama, and ended up coaching, I think, wide receivers at South Alabama. But he's just a good old boy. He's just one of these Southerners, overweight, talking on a mic. And you see someone like me show up, and my delivery is a little more crisp, a little more assertive, aggressive, informed, dare I say more educated. And he's threatened by it. They hate it. So as soon as they made a video talking about me, saying, whoever's watching this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. We know. I've been working the portal forever. And it's like, yeah, man, I want to remind everybody that there's one great manager at Burger King right now. And they're the best manager at Burger King. And they're running everything. But the day I want to become a manager at Burger King, they're obsolete. Because there are amazing people in this world who didn't choose your profession. That doesn't make you great. It's just what you're doing. And I'm one of those amazing people. If I choose to do this, I'm going to be more informed. I'm going to do more research. And I'm still going to be more presentable, better looking, speak better. It is what it is. And they hate me, bruh. My name's Rico. I'm Mexican. I'm not American enough for them. But I've accidentally done more for this country than that man's ever done on purpose in his life. I've served over 20 years. I'm as American as anybody. So I'm not going to get bullied and punked and told I can't talk about the transfer portal. You stepped to the wrong person. And that's what people don't understand. Like, I took it personal because they started attacking my credibility. So I attacked his. It's cool. But you just got to understand, like, where I come from, what I'm doing here, I didn't get any of this off of fame. I didn't borrow any money from my parents to get started. I don't have the inside hookup, whatever. These Butch Jones types, these Siskel types, these McCready types, all these guys, they're networking, they're handouts, and they can think they earned it. But there's a lot of guys who think they hit a single, but they started life on first base. They were never at bat. They had a head start. Some people start on third base, score a run, and think they hit a home run. Not me, bruh. I come from nothing, so it is what it is. Rico Knows. Pay attention to Morgan Scaley, Utah defensive coordinator, played with Joe Giannone, former linebacker at Utah. Former teammate of mine. He wrestled at my weight in high school. Couldn't beat me, so he was just on the bench. Or maybe we made him go up in weight. I think he went up to 160. Shout out to Joe Giannone. Turned out to be a beast and played at Utah. So one of his teammates, defense coordinator. Shout out to you. You can win the SEC and get into the playoffs. Yeah, you can most times if you go undefeated. And Kirby Smart, he said, Bloody Tuesday is what makes them better than most teams. Yeah, they go once. They go and hit each other. What's your thoughts on Connor Gilbreth? He's 6'6", 270, JUCO blocking tight end. I hear CU is taking a close look at him. Titletown USA, they're not taking a close look at him. They offered him. The close look has already been done. They offered him. So who is Connor Gilbreth? So he was 6'5", 250 coming out of high school. He was a skinny offensive tackle, and he went to Butte Community College. And he's been chilling over there as an offensive tackle, and then he moved to tight end. Watched his tape. Looks like, you usually see a wide receiver get really big and bulk up and become a tight end. And then you see a tight end usually bulk up and become a tackle. But you very rarely see a tackle slim down to become a tight end. So, yes, his blocking acumen has got to be there. He's great. The only issue is he's got other offers. he does have an offer from Washington. He just and the first week he got an offer from Washington. He had an offer from Portland State. And shout out to Portland State, and I forgot his name right now. Their offensive coordinator just started following me on TikTok today. He reached out and sent me a message. You know what? I can look it up. I want to give a shout out to Portland State, their offensive coordinator, and one second here. And his name is Andre Patterson. He's the offensive coordinator at Portland State, and they just offered, and I don't know how he got a hold of my channel and how he reached out to me, but he wrote me a DM, and I like FCS schools reaching out. I know I talk to a lot of coaching staffs and a lot of players, and some people think I'm unattainable or you can't reach out to me. Yeah, you can. Just shoot me a DM. My DMs are open. You can send me up to 3 messages before I either reply and trust it or I block you or ignore you. You can send up to 3, so make them count. If you send one and you're like, hey, Rico, I have a question, and then the next message is, will you answer my question? Let me know. You could have asked everything in one message. You could have just went for it. Some guys go for the gold. Some guys write me and tell me, hey, could you please review my tape? And it'll be just the other day I was told, a kid asked me, can you review my tape? And I said, yeah. What's your name? What's your real name? He gave me his real name. He's the leading rusher at Troy, bro. Rushed for 1,100 yards. Of course I know who you are. Shout out to Kamani Vidal. So there's people who hit me up all the time. But it's always nice when a new coaching staff, discovers me and discovers what we're doing here and the movement and the information we're sharing, because I'm always trying to be honest. I'm trying to be at the forefront of everything. And if I'm going to be a respected member of the media, I got to have some type of credibility. I got to have an insider information with my sources, right? And my sources right now are coaching staffs, are players. And, it's a good feeling. So I already know about Connor Gilbreth. I've looked into him. I haven't made a video on him because I'm not like all these other knee-jerk reaction guys. I see all the people making content for clicks, and I don't like it. So I saw them, oh, my God, Colorado. Dude, they offered him. They've offered many players. Wait till somebody chooses a school and then make the video. But they're not doing that. They're clickbait ridiculous. My thoughts on Jalen Key. I've talked about him in 2 live streams in a row. I talked about him earlier today. I think Jalen Key is, he's slated to go to Florida State. Sorry for the dog barking. I'm about to lock her out. I never do that. Oh, she's barking at the neighbor's dogs. They're out. Sorry, guys. You're just going to get this is real life stuff over here. Nonetheless, yeah, he's linked to Florida State. So that's all there is to it. I've talked about him playing at length. So you can deal with that. Tony Mitchell, another example, prime current example of a knucklehead for real. Sure, Tony Mitchell, Alabama, getting pulled over. I had a lot of guys write to me and go, Rico, what's the big deal? It's just 200 grams of weed. He had a gun, but it was the guy's gun. And I'm like, hey, hold up. So you're justifying the drugs. Yeah, weed don't hurt nobody. You're justifying the gun. Yeah, this is America. Okay, justify evading police. Justify that he was running from the cops. Let me know the decision-making and ethical thought process from running from the cops. Well, his passenger told him to floor it, told him to punch it, told him to go. Okay, bro. And they find you 2 hours later and you still got the stuff on you? Or is that 2 hours later? Was that the Jalen Carter timeline? Come on now. Just saying. Nobody wants knuckleheads. Nobody wants those guys on their team. It's not worth it. Coach Prime uses a company that takes your highlights from the team before and measures the explosion and the way they fire off the ball, etc. Measures a lot of different things, and they sit down and vet the players. Okay, vet the players. Then they begin to offer. They don't just offer anyone. Coach Prime isn't new to this. He's the only coach that has a gold jacket, and he didn't. Okay, listen. Your ability to play football is irrelevant. There are NFL coaches. There's only like 5 right now, and I don't want to be wrong, but there's not a lot of NFL coaches that have NFL playing experience. So we can just stop that right now. No one cares about a gold jacket. Gold jacket is a popularity contest. I'm a huge Coach Prime supporter, and it's not for any of the stuff you're writing. So let me just make that very clear. Sorry, guys. Somebody wrote about Bear Bryant? Oh, you wrote Bear Bryant. I was thinking of something else. The chat moved on me. I'll be right there with you guys. Give me a second here. So, yeah, I'm with you, Grizz. I get what you're saying. But listen to me. There are so many coaches that hire scouting departments. So many. They hire firms that do the scouting for you and provide you with scouting cards and go back. Or they do a round robin in their own coaching staff. And they say, okay, identify these or look at these 25 players. And then they pass it on to the next guy. And they look and they look and they grade them. Everybody grades them. And then they bring it together in the collective grades. Things like that happen in recruiting services as well. But there's a ton. There's a ton of metrics used and approaches used. But it's nothing new and different that Coach Prime is doing. So just be clear. The one thing he is doing, though, is he's beating certain teams to the punch, like Florida. Florida's vetting their process so slow that they're not getting any visitors. And that's why they didn't get anybody in the spring, is because no one's even getting on campus to see their beautiful facilities. They're going too slow. Billy Napier's got such a weeding out process that it's too slow. So there's complaints there. Just joined the live, so I'm not sure if you talked about it, but do you think Kamari Stevens is being offered by Colorado? I've not talked about it, and I don't have any additional information on Kamari Stevens. I will look around. I did not talk about it, and I have no information on that. I owe you guys answers. What is the best wide receiver on the Colorado roster? Who is the best wide receiver on the Colorado roster? So the best wide receiver on Colorado's roster, to me, is Xavier Weaver. A known commodity. Gets open, he proves it. I've watched all the tape. I like Xavier Weaver a lot. I think he's the leading receiver from South Florida last year. He just knows what he's doing. But that being said, Travis Hunter could be the best receiver. Okay? So we'll know when they all get there. But I can't, outside of that, it's a who's who of wide receivers. There's a ton of guys. Good afternoon, Rico. Shout out to you, Rusty. Good to see you again, brother. Warren Lowndes, salute to you, brother. Thank you for being here. Can't see that. I don't know what you're saying, but I'm with you. Do you have any info on Upshaw? Yeah, Upshaw committed to Arizona. No, brother, I don't. At KD Hall, I think he signed to Arizona State. Might be wrong. Yes, you're wrong. Not Arizona State, Arizona, the Wildcats. Upshaw going to the Wildcats. Who wins the MAC this year? Give me Ohio. Give me the Ohio Bobcats to win the MAC. I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing my mind. Give me Ohio. Rourke being back as their quarterback. Give me Ohio to win the MAC. What do you think about the Texas quarterback room, specifically Malik Murphy? I think Malik Murphy's a really good quarterback. I think he's going to find himself in a battle with a Manning in 1 or 2 years. If Ewers goes pro and he's projected as a first-round pick, then Malik Murphy's the starter. And Manning's just going to sit tight. So Malik Murphy's good. If he transfers, he transfers. Some SEC team needs a quarterback. What Pac-12 team is a sleeper this year? A sleeper, bankroll? A sleeper in the Pac-12. Oh, boy. How could you be a sleeper in a Power 5 conference? Oregon State. Oregon State's a sleeper. They have the best running back room. They can run you into the ground. They have a great culture. Jonathan Smith as a coach is great. Knows what he's doing. Former offensive coordinator under Peterson up at Washington. Former quarterback at Oregon State when they were winning in the early 2000s. Oregon State, sleeper, I guess. If you're sleeping on him, wake up. The plug. Shout out to you, Lawrence Collins. I appreciate you, man. Every time I see Lawrence, he always throws the plug at me. And if you guys don't know what that means, I don't know. Urban Dictionary is your friend. I'm watching a culture change at UNLV. Yes, you are. Odom is a great coach. That's an SEC level coach. We're starting to get a different kind of player now. Hopefully we can be competitive in the conference this year with the new coaching staff. So, yeah, they went and said Barry Odom is the head coach at UNLV, former head coach at Arkansas. So you got an SEC caliber head coach, and he coached 500 at Arkansas. He wasn't a losing coach. And he's at UNLV. UNLV, he's the second highest paid coach. They're putting money into their program. They are recruiting great. They got a running back coming in. And I'm telling you, nobody's talking about him. Let me show you guys something. They got this running back. And they keep getting guys from the transfer portal like it ain't nothing. But UNLV, go to 2023, right? Oh, let's go. Football recruiting team rankings. Whoops. They got him late. He's from the Midwest. And I talked to the young man. Reached out to him. Look at that. Oh, this is 2024. 2023. We got to go back and click on it again. It resets every time. And here we go. UNLV, dead last. Everybody complaining about it. Now, let me say this about this conference. Really good transfer portal classes. But UNLV has a hidden gem in here, and nobody's talking about it. Darian Jones. 6 foot, 195 pounds. Darian Jones went to an underclass camp. In the Midwest, in Kansas City, and he won MVP of the camp. Another running back was there. Aeneas Williams. He just committed to Notre Dame. He outperformed the Notre Dame commit in his sleep, bruh. Trust me. Darian Jones, beast. His tape is nice. I made a video. It's here on YouTube as well, about him. Called him the best, a hidden gem, a future hidden gem for UNLV running backs. Dig in my videos a little bit. I only have about 100 posted. You guys can get through them and find them. They're there. Do you think Colorado will eventually join the Big 12? Trevor, I'm not in discussions with TV contracts. I'm not too worried about it. That's the type of stuff I try not to guess at or predict. So it's a TV contract thing. It has nothing to do with performance on the field. That's how you carry 10 extra players beyond the 85. They cannot play, though. Yes, it's how you carry it, Norcon. Very aware. Did you check the wide receiver stats for JSU last year? Over 10 receivers had 100-plus yards. Yeah, none of that matters, Warren Lowndes. What happened at JSU last year is irrelevant. They have a new offensive coordinator. Sean Lewis will be making those decisions. He will be using 3 wide receivers primarily. Other guys will be in the rotation. Other guys will be doing whatever, but there's not going to be 10 receivers with 100-plus yards. Doesn't happen. You got a new offensive coordinator. Your old offensive coordinator is your wide receivers coach, but he has no say in play calling and selection to players. And the only reason you're going to have 10 receivers with 100-plus yards, injuries, inconsistency at the top or with your starters, it's not a hangout spot. And I need everybody to stop thinking about the performance and the productivity at Jackson State when you look at the same players. Same players, different coaching staff. Same players, different system. So that's why when people go, well, Coach Prime had all this talent at Jackson State and couldn't win the Celebration Bowl. He don't know what he's doing. It's like, different coordinators, bro. And they make all the difference. Coordinators make the world go round. So just remember that. People are losing their minds about CU. Coach Prime don't know what he's doing, quote unquote. This hasn't been done since Bear Bryant. Didn't Coach Prime already do this at JSU? Got the 4-3 team, then go 11-2, 12-1. Yeah, Twitch. I don't talk to people. I don't worry about people. I talk to you guys, but I don't go around and listen to rumors. I don't get down like that. Oh my God, some of CP Coach Prime haters need to hear your speech. Coach Prime not player, but still should have that respect for turning the program around. There you go. It's not what we are seeing from the CU fans that are dogging the kids that are exciting as a result of the new regime being in town. I agree, Rico. You can be glad they're gone, but don't trash the kids. Yeah. Go back and check the stats for JSU wide receivers. Please don't repeat yourself in the chat, Warren Lowndes, or anybody. Yeah, they're not going to spread the ball around like you're envisioning. It's not Jackson State. It's Colorado. Different offense. Sean Lewis. I thought this was a college football channel. We talking about life, loyalty, and people over brands. Let's go. Appreciate you, Funny Spider. Thank you for the tip. It's a rarity in my world. I appreciate it every time it happens. What's up, Rico? Blessings, bro. Shout out to you, Digital Assets. Jared, good to see you again. I'll never send this full of super chat. I coach him up on YouTube game for free, GG. That's my twin brother, guys. Just disregard anything he says. Tennessee was strong with Hooker at quarterback now. They're strong with Josh Heupel at coach now. That's what it is. No mods. Yeah, I don't have any mods right now. As a lifelong SC fan, Rico's 1,000% right. Thank you so very much. Name one that has won a natty. Don't know what you're talking about, Surfer Boy. Name one that has won a natty. Break that down for me again. Fight on, Rico. Thank you so much, Jared. Thank you. Shout out to Ash. Rico, do you have a Twitter handle? Matt Agnew, no, I do not, and I will not go. I have one so I can see Twitter, but I will not be on Twitter consistently. I will not write on there. I will not communicate with anyone on there. I want no part of Twitter. That's not part of my engagement with my fans. I don't have diarrhea of the mouth where I'm just sitting here just trying to push out as many tweets as possible every single day. It's not for me. Rico, love the show. Going to love Going to love going back and forth with you this upcoming season concerning CU football in particular. I see them with 3 to 4 wins max. I know you see them with 6 to 7. Should be fun. So, no, I see them with 4 to 6 wins, 7 max, 6, 7 wins max. I definitely see them with 4 wins at a minimum. But, yeah, I don't think we're any different. You just use the word max in there and then threw me at 6 or 7. That's okay. I'm going to Japan, Okinawa. I'm a 12 whiskey. How am I going to watch football? There's something called AFN, Armed Forces Network. And no matter where you're at in the world, you have AFN if you're international. You will have free cable. AFN usually has about 3 channels. There's something called AFN Sports, AFN Family, AFN Drama, AFN Movies. And when you put it on that channel, no matter what happens, something will be on there for you to watch. Now, sometimes it's a rerun of Family Matters. Sometimes it's a rerun of the George Lopez show. Sometimes it's a pay-per-view event like a UFC fight. So all you got to learn are the time zones. And then when you turn it on, you will be seeing every major game, everything. The other thing is, when you're in Japan or abroad, the internet is better in foreign countries than it is in America. The internet is faster and better because they don't have any laws like limiting their bandwidth or... So you got to be careful. You got to protect yourself. But the reality is the internet's faster. It's better. The infrastructure is better. Everything about it. So when I'm in Korea, I watch everything. You can stream everything, watch everything. You don't miss anything. I've watched March Madness in the middle of Iraq. I watch March Madness in the middle of Turkey. I've never missed anything while in the military. 1 second. Prime needs to put you on the payroll. Anime King. Only a couple of coaches on the staff know me and some players know me. I don't know Coach Prime personally. I don't think he knows who I am. So there's that. Rico, let me hear your thoughts on Carson Beck leading my Dogs to a 3rd straight natty. Okay, so Carson Beck, quarterback from Mandarin, Florida. I watched him play in high school. I watched his state championship game. Demas was his wide receiver. He actually just went pro, went in the draft. What I'll tell you is I don't think Carson Beck's a great quarterback, but he's safe, and he's going to be the product of Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart trying their best to emulate what what's his name who just left? The Muppet Man? I know his name. I'm joking with you guys. So what it really comes down to is when Mockin, before he left, like, he's a great offensive coordinator. I hope he taught Mike Bobo everything. Everybody always quotes these stats to me. They're like, well, when he was there last time, we averaged this, we did this, we did. No, the last time he was an offensive coordinator was at Auburn. And go look at those stats. Stop quoting something he did 10 years ago. Go look at what he did recently. I think it's troublesome for me. I don't think Carson Beck's leading the Dogs to a 3rd straight natty, as you say. They squeaked by and beat Ohio State by a miracle, by a missed kick, and they had a all-time great defense, and they had a senior quarterback, and they had all these great players. Like, you think they're going to win another one without having all the things go right, without all the right pieces? It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. National champs have senior Latin teams. National champs have a bit of luck on their side, sure, but there's a certain amount of baseline talent that they have. And I just don't feel that good about Georgia next year. I really don't. One year they're going to go 8-5, and everybody's going to be devastated. Austin will be in Colorado this weekend. All right, sure. There we go. Does 11 scholarships remain for Colorado? All right, that sounds good. We got some crime faces. Rico, what's your thoughts on tight end Adamola Filet, Michigan State transfer? Yeah, so let's go. You know, when people talk about certain players, I always wonder about their motives. Like, why did you mention this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, where did you read it? Where did you see it? Who inspired you to bring him up? So, coming up from Norfolk, right, the FCS level, you got to ask yourself, why did he take the offer? So now he was the first guy signed, 6'7", 235. I went and looked at his tape. He looks like an athletic receiving wide receiver or tight end. But then look, man, They signed Jalen Franklin, a graduate transfer with 1 year of eligibility left from Wisconsin, right afterwards. And then they went inside Tynell Hopper, another graduate transfer with 1 year of eligibility left from Boise State. So if they sign you and then they go sign 2 more guys at your position that have 1 year of eligibility, these guys are going to start over you, theoretically. That's my beef with some of these kids. It's like you're not paying attention or the schools don't really care. He's a good receiver, good guy. Could have found a different opportunity. But you know what? When you're coming from the FCS, you're going to take the first Power 5 offer you see, man. That shit's going to bite hard. And he did that. And he did that. Shout out to him. But you could have got an offer from a school that wanted him a little closer. He's from Massachusetts, but why not just go to Virginia or ODU? Why not go somewhere where you know you're going to play? You're fighting with 2 other guys. I'm just saying, you're fighting with 2 other guys. Think he's a good player, though. Good receiving tight end. Don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you very much. Appreciate the likes. I don't know where they are. I can't even see them on my screen. Really, please press the like button. Thank you very much. Rico, it looks like you have run into some of these good old boys here in the South. They are a dime a dozen. Yeah, I've lived here 8 years. They're not for me. Alvin Williams was dismissed from the team at the beginning of the 22 season. Let's not associate that one with CP. Okay, there we go. So Coach Prime did not do anything to him. They kicked him off. Shout out to him. Hey, Rico, overlook me, brother. I'm a jarhead. Okay. Machine gunner. Red is my favorite. Okay. Keep killing, brother. Thank you so much. Arizona State is a sleeper in the Pac-12. Yeah, if you want to sleep on them. I think they're good. I don't know about a sleeper. Is Notre Dame a contender or pretender this year? Raider Boat, I think they're a pretender. I think Notre Dame has no wide receivers. None. Their star wide receiver in the transfer portal retired from football, and then they just lost Styles. So they had Caleb Smith coming in from Virginia Tech, the leading receiver, and then he just retired. You spent some money on a guy, and, some people think Notre Dame's real, but not me. They got good running backs. What are they bringing in? Caleb Smith went ahead and retired. He's not playing football anymore. You got a kicker, Spencer Schrader, from South Florida. And when I read his interviews, and who cares about a kicker? Me. When I read his interviews, all he kept saying is, what was he saying? The Lord sent me here. My faith. It's all religious based. It drives me crazy. I can't deal. Good get here for Sam Hartman. Good get with Thomas Harper at corner. And this is a big move right here. Javonte Jean-Baptiste leaving Ohio State. The reason he left is his old linebacker coach is now the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. So he's just moving to go be with his old coach for his graduate transfer year, his final year. He's a good player, Javonte Jean-Baptiste. But losing all these players in the transfer portal, you're talking about Logan Diggs, second leading rusher on the team, Prince Colley, a reserve linebacker, reserve, Joe Wilkins, a graduate transfer, didn't play much. Jaden Bellamy is a big problem. Losing Jaden Bellamy is a problem for me. You lose a 2022 corner. He redshirted last year, but he left to Syracuse to go play with his teammate. They both just bounced. They just said, the hell with it. We're out of here. And they're both from Bergen Catholic, high school teammates. They did 1 year at different schools, and they're both going to go play for Dino Babers now. He might not be there much longer, but it is what it is. Osita leaving, he was a bust. And most these 4-star guys from Notre Dame don't pan out. And that's why they got to transfer to smaller schools. Tyler Buckner, following your offensive coordinator. So you got a team losing an offensive coordinator, losing 2 of the quarterbacks for Sam Hartman, who I think was a product of a system at Wake Forest. Not a great quarterback. Sam Hartman stayed in college to make more money. Let me make that very clear. Sam Hartman made more money in NIL than he would have if he was a 4th or 5th round pick. Or, a 6th round pick in the NFL draft. It's true. And so did Austin Reed. Austin Reed, the quarterback at Western Kentucky, same thing. He said, hey, man, I'm going to stay here at Western Kentucky because he was being offered $400,000 or $500,000 for an NIL deal to move to Kentucky or Louisville. And he said, no, I'm going to just stay at Western Kentucky. I'm going to have another stellar season, and I'm going to get drafted in the 4th round. I'm thinking about long-term money. So it is what it is. I need people to understand that. I think Notre Dame's way down next year. Way down. Just so we're clear. Now, I haven't seen their schedule. Let's go look up Notre Dame's schedule. I've looked it up before. How many wins you got them going? How many wins you got Notre Dame doing? Let's see. They got Navy. They win. I think they beat NC State. I think they're 4-0. Lose to Ohio State. Lose to Duke. I have them losing to Duke. I have them losing to Louisville. I have them losing these 3 games in a row. 4 games in a row. Oh, my God. They'll win that one. They'll lose 5. I got them losing 5 games. If I'm crazy, maybe it's only 3 games they lose. But I got them losing 5 games. What's that, 8-5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, 7-5. Do I sound crazy? Maybe they're good. Maybe they're good and I'm wrong. Maybe they're 9-3. Notre Dame 9-3. Let's go. Just threw out a number out there. Notre Dame 9-3. It's being recorded. Thoughts on Colorado's offensive line currently coming in summer and recruits in the transfer portal? I think they're great. I think Colorado's offensive line is set. They have all their starters. They're good. Backup quarterback for Colorado, irrelevant. Do they have one? If they're one currently, they should trying to get. Nope, Twitch. You don't need a backup quarterback. No team out there needs to focus on a backup quarterback. It does. If you're playing your backup quarterback, your season's over. Shout out to TCU. The vast majority of teams in this country, if they're playing their backup quarterback, their season's over. Literally 120 teams. If they're playing a backup quarterback, their season's over. Period. And there's no other way around that. Tired of seeing that ad. I'm sorry. Back to this. What other offers does JUCO Connor Graveworth have? CU just offered him. I just talked about that already, Jamal Joyner. His other offers are, and now he's getting bigger. He's 6'6", 270. So he has offers from Washington, Portland State, Colorado, and one more. Can't remember what it was, but I know those 3 for sure. You serve in our military. You're more American than most. Thank you. Yep. I currently serve. I used to. I'm still active duty. With the up-and-coming season, will you touch on high school players? Of course I'll touch on high school players, Willie Bobo. Calm down. But I'll only be talking about them on Fridays. I'm going to make it a Friday, high school football Friday Night Lights thing. I'll only talk about football players on Friday, high school football players on Friday. Trey Amos just committed to Bama. What's your thoughts on that move? Yeah, not too worried about it. I don't talk about recruits. So that's my thoughts on that, Zion. It's just wasted energy. His other offer's Miami. Yeah, they're paying anybody. It's just wasted energy for me to spend a lot of my time thinking about high school recruits. I just don't do it. So that's me. But yeah, if you guys want to know what your boy Connor Gilbreth looks like, everybody's saying his weight. He was 6'5", 245 at the beginning of the year. And he's magically just gaining more and more weight every time somebody mentions his name. He'll be 285 in the next conversation. It's just the way people are. So, Amos is not a high school recruit? 1 second. One second. Marshall transfer, Tristan Bittner, Jack Mangle, leaving Concord. Kindred, leaving Maryland. I already know that. Hey, shout out to Dylan. Going to Colorado State. Yep. I don't have it anywhere, man. I'll have to look for it. I owe you an answer. Apologize. Shout out to you. Shout out to chat today. So that kicker is like Coach Prime. They both said the Lord led them to their new destinations. Don't do that to me, bruh. Don't do that to me. Well, the NCAA will change the rules. Should Coach Prime succeed? There's no rule to change, Lawrence. There's no rule to change. I don't understand. He didn't break any rules. He didn't do anything. Alessandro Lorna said he's a lineman at Michigan from Montreal. Just curious. I don't know about him. I'm new to college football, so sorry if these questions seem kind of silly, but shouldn't there be a quarterback ready to take over in case Shador goes down after he leaves, or you just worry about it later? So, no, you don't worry about it. It doesn't matter, Twitch. College football is a lot different from the NFL. NFL, you have senior backups. You have veteran backups that can fill in when somebody goes down. Doesn't work that way. In college, if somebody goes down, you have a freshman, true freshman. I'll double check. Give me a second, Zion. If he came from Louisiana. So you just don't need that. You don't need seniority backup. You don't need none of that stuff. Do you need somebody out there getting ready to go? Yes. But he has 2 years of eligibility left. If you don't find anyone, you can just hit the transfer portal and you're straight. So it's fine. Trey Amos. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. This didn't just happen. This has been done. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, Trey Amos corner leaving Louisiana. You know, for me, when you pull up his stats, man, remember what I told you guys. Sometimes a picture will look at this. It's in purple because I was just looking at this. Sometimes a picture sparks everything for me. So, Trey Amos right here. What I look for from a corner, without looking at the tape, the first thing I go do is check their stats. And, you guys can't see this. Let me shrink myself. 8 passes deflected. Led the team in 8 passes deflected. I look for double-digit passes deflected. Double digits means you're elite. 8 means, okay, cool. You're out there. You're battling for the ball. So I go look for those 8 passes deflected because I want to see those plays. Were they bad passes? Were you competing? Were you jamming? What kind of coverage were you doing? Was it man or zone? I go look for the 8 passes deflected. It's what I do. So I will click on Trey, and I already did this the other day. And when you look at him, first thing I do is go check, okay, he was at school the whole time. Make sure he doesn't go to a different school. And then you click see all on his stats. And right here, you see the PD. Oh, you can't see it because my thing's in the way. I go look at PD, and I go look at all those games. So I'm going to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. And what I'm looking for when I go to those 5 games is what quarterbacks are throwing. Terrible quarterbacks at Southern Miss. Decent quarterback, great quarterback, but they throw a ton. Good quarterback, didn't get any passes deflected against Florida State. Texas State, bad quarterback. Houston, that's a good quarterback. And it's a bowl game, right? So, yeah, it's an NFL quarterback. And I go look for that kind of stuff. So I study it, and I say Trey Amos is a good corner. What they really like about him is his size. 6'1", 200 pounds. They're not looking for 5'10 guys. Every time you see Bama or Georgia grab a corner, he's 6'1 or 6'2. It's just the way they get down. So, yeah, sorry about that. I didn't even bother to look and make sure I had the name right. Rico, do you see SC as a playoff team barring significant injuries? Do you see SC as a playoff team barring significant injuries? I see USC winning the Pac-12. I see them winning the Pac-12. Does that mean you're going to the playoffs? I don't know. What does ESPN say? What do the polls say? What does this fictitious committee say? You know? There's an expansion of the playoffs, so everybody's going to make it. Unless you have a backup like a Stenson Bennett, I agree, Rico, your season is over, especially if the team is not loaded for bear around the player. Yeah, so no, nobody has a backup like Stenson Bennett. Stenson Bennett's the starter. No one has a backup player with experience. Very rarely. They had Max Duggan at TCU, but it's not even a benefit when it happens. You guys, there are these examples of like 1 or 2 times in the last 20 years where it's relevant. The vast majority of teams, your season's over when you lose your starter. So just stop. It's not even worth discussing. It's not even worth trying to develop. It's just not the case. Week 2, Colorado versus Nebraska. Who do you got? Where do you see Colorado getting their wins? Their schedule looks kind of tough. If you already have a video, I'll watch. I'm new to your channel as well, so I don't know. Yeah, Twitch, I made that video yesterday. It's called Predicting Colorado's Wins. It's literally on YouTube. So I just made the video. Please watch it. And that's all I'll say about that. Please. I'm not begging you, but I'm just saying. All right, guys. Well, I love talking to everybody. I hope you guys got all the latest and greatest in the transfer portal. I'm glad. I hope I answered all of your questions. Tywone Malone is going to Ohio State. He's a big man. That's some big juice for him. Shout out to him for what he's doing and where he's going. Congrats. Most kids want to go to somewhere they're wanted. So it's obvious he's wanted there. I wish him well. Oh, let me turn that off. That was the wrong song. How dare they? How dare they try to get... We're not doing this.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers. Then I hit my quota, and my train of thought is more a locomotive. Talking reason for it, I got locomotives. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex in a France tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit. I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist. Try not to change, but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up, they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exists. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a Cold War, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, green, green. I'm about to go green, green, green. I'm about to go green, green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature Iraq. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing, steady growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view to some window pane. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick me. Here's some truth that I'll let free, Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will